would the runners would like to introduce themselves?
Okay, alright, so my name is Werster.
And I'm JTMagicman.
Today we will be running a race of Pokemon Heart Gold Manipless. And so if everybody is ready to go, we can just jump straight into this.
You want me to give the countdown?
Yes, please.
Rightio, we will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, thank God you gave me that extra buffer because my soft reset didn't work there for a second. But yes, once again, welcome everybody. This is a Manipless speedrun of Pokemon Heart Gold that we're going to be doing as a race. So first of all, we'll talk a little bit about what this category means. So this is Manipless, as it says. And so that means, as it suggests, there will be a lack of manip in this run. And so, for a more detailed explanation, so that means there will be no RNG manipulation throughout the course of this run. So any percent categories use a lot of RNG manipulation. And so they get a near-perfect Cyndaquil, they get no wild encounters throughout the run. Actually, just give me a second while I enter this name. Raikou? No, Raikkonen I entered. Try that again. Okay. Thanks for the donations for the names.
So
there.
that'll be Raikou, and then for JTMagicman, it's Entei.
Thank you very much. We do know how to spell Pokemon names. Well, some of us anyway. Apparently not. But yeah, so the 80% runs, they get a near-perfect Cyndaquil, they get no wild encounters, they then win the lottery, which is a 1 in 65,536 chance to get a Master Ball, to then use that Master Ball to catch Raikou, and also get Pokerus, which is a 3 in 65,536 chance after each battle. But none of that's going to happen in this run. This is Manipless, so there will be no RNG manipulation. So we'll get almost certainly a much worse Cyndaquil. Definitely get lots of encounters. Will not be winning the lottery. Will almost certainly not be getting Pokerus, though it is possible to get Pokerus. It's not possible to win the lottery because we're not even going to try. And so it changes the route entirely because we're not going to be getting Raikou. We have to use different Pokemon. But the start is the same in principle in that we are going to be picking Cyndaquil. But so I mentioned that in the 80% run, you get a really good Cyndaquil, and you're probably not going to get a good Cyndaquil in this run. So every Pokemon in this game has what's known as IVs, which impact their stats. And so IVs are a random number from 0 to 31 in all of their stats that determine how high or low the stat would be comparative to other Pokemon of the same species. So some Cyndaquils are a lot better than others. Going to give Cyndaquil a one-character nickname because Cyndaquil is going to be used a lot, and text does take a little bit of time to transpire. I got a girl. Okay, that's cool. Girls are a 1 in 8 chance for starters. It's more common to get boys. Girls are slightly better in this run because you will not get affected by Cute Charm in the double battle for Cyndaquil. In older routes, girl used to be really good, but just a little advantage now. Girls have no downside. So yeah, random value between 0 to 31 for all of the stats, and then on top of that there's also every Pokemon has a nature which can impact the stats. Some natures actually have no impacts, but others will increase one stat by 10% and decrease another stat by 10%. And so, natures, they do have a big impact, but you can be happy with any plus nature. Like, at any stage, somewhere, a plus nature in attack, defense, special defense, or speed, it'll come in handy somewhere. The only exception maybe is speed, if you have a really bad IV as well. But any Cyndaquil is runnable, so in older routes as well, you used to need a really good Cyndaquil, and so it would be a lot of resetting until you got those really good IVs and a good nature on the Cyndaquil to be able to get through the game. But in the route we're going to be doing here, you can take any Cyndaquil. some Cyndaquils are a lot better and do save a lot of time, but saving in this game takes even longer. Saving and resetting in Gen 4 takes an enormous amount of time. So it's better to just take any Cyndaquil and just hope it's really good. But so you might see very contrasting runs as a result. And if you run this category for a long time, you do get very different runs as a result of just taking any stats. But so now we're starting to walk through the grass, and so encounters can show up here. And it's just random whether we get encounters or not, but we do want to kill one of these Pokemon for experience. Ideally, we'd wait for a level 2, maybe a level 3 if it's a Sentret or something. Something with a bit lower defense. The experience does help, just that tiny little bit of experience helps Cyndaquil reach level 7, 10, and 14 faster, and all of those are quite crucial. Especially 10 and 14, because level 10 is when Cyndaquil learns Ember, and level 14 is when it evolves. So I've got no encounters so far, which is really good. JT not so lucky.
Yeah. One thing I will mention, which Worst hasn't covered yet, we picked the girl character because it is around 7 to 8 seconds faster than the boy in the catching tutorial, which is coming up soon. You will see that, and we'll probably mention that a bit more when we get there.
Yeah, when we get to the tutorial. So I'm doing a tutorial right now to get the running shoes, and so now I'll be able to run. We'll not be moving at this slow snail's pace walking speed the entire run, which is good. Running is twice as fast. But we won't be running the entire way. There are some cases where walking is better, and one of those is when going through grass. And so the reason for that is running in this game actually increases the encounter rate. So let's talk about encounter rates, actually, because they're actually quite complex in this game compared to even some other Pokemon games. So the way whether you get an encounter works is there's 2 RNG checks that the game runs, and if it passes both of them, it generates an encounter. And the first one is based on your movement. So it's a 100 check. It does mod 100 to the RNG. And if you're walking, that rate is 20. If you're running, the rate is 40. And if you're on the bike, that rate is 70. So 20% chance to check walking, 40% running, and 70% biking. That rate can actually be increased if you do opposite directions. Now, this is actually a really great mechanic that was used in this game and this game only. So it basically means if you move into a grass patch facing up, and then you go down into the next grass patch, that's considered an opposite direction. And so it increases your encounter rate. And so the reason this is a really good mechanic that they introduced into the game is that basically the only time you do opposite directions is when you're going back and forth hunting for encounters. So it means you get more encounters when you want encounters and less when you don't want them. It only increases once you do 2 opposite directions, though, because you can do one accidentally. For example, I've now just gone into Mr. Pokemon's house, and the last tile of grass that I went through before going to Mr. Pokemon's house was up, and after Mr. Pokemon's house it'll be down. And that counter does still stay intact throughout areas. It doesn't reset upon a new area. But like I said, it only increases once you get to 2, so it doesn't actually have an impact accidentally most of the time. The second RNG call is based on the area that you're in. So grass areas in Johto are almost always 25. In Kanto, they're actually slightly lower. They end up being 20, which we've actually kind of known for years, but only really put the pieces together like just recently, that the encounter rates are actually lower in Johto, but that's for grass. Then for water and caves, it's 10 in Johto and 20 in Kanto. So those actually end up being higher in Kanto. But so that means, like, if I'm walking in this grass here, 20% chance to pass the first check, 25 for the second, so ends up being 5 total. And running, it's 10 total. Oh my word. Okay, so the only stat that we get to check really easily on Cyndaquil is health. And you'll notice my Cyndaquil has 18 health. That's very bad.
Oh dear, that's the worst possible one, actually.
Yes, that is the worst possible that you can get. And it means its IV is either, I think it's 0 or 1. So it's very bad. I also have not been able to kill an encounter because I wanted to kill one before I got to Mr. Pokemon's house because Mr. Pokemon heals you when you get there. The only thing that I got that I could take out was after Mr. Pokemon's house, and given my health is so low, I do not want to lose health before this first rival fight, because it's very possible to actually lose this first rival fight here. So I mentioned before that our IVs are random, but the IVs of trainer Pokemon are always the same, and so they steadily increase as you get through the game. So in this first rival fight, his IVs are all 0. So his Totodile is not very good, but Totodile is better than Cyndaquil in this matchup, because Totodile has better attack and better defense, and it also has a better move in Scratch compared to Tackle. He's also gone Leer into Scratch. This is the worst possible scenario, because if he chooses Scratch again, I could just have to heal immediately at 18 health, which would have just been really unlucky. Okay, so I'm just risking, because Tackle can miss, so I'm just risking hoping here that it hits, and it does. It's got 95% accuracy, so should be fine. And now I'll reach level 6, and so now I'll get to check all of my other stats. But I'll try to do it as quick as I can. Okay, so those were all kind of average. My nature, I'm almost certain, is Sassy, which is plus special defense minus speed, because my speed had to be minus, given how low it was. And then all of the other IVs, they were kind of... Well, all of the other stats. I can't, like, narrow down exactly what my IVs are, but all of my stats, they were just kind of average. And so I'm okay with average, to be honest. Because I'm very used to getting awful Cyndaquils in these races, especially minus special attack.
Yeah, I'm just fighting the rival now, using the same strat, leering twice and using Tackle.
Yeah, so the reason...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. So the reason we leer twice is to reduce the chance of Tackle missing, but
Yeah,
also so in key fights in this game, such as these ones against the rival, once you lower their last Pokemon to below half health, they come out and just have a little bit of text. And so by using 2 Leers, if you crit the second Tackle, you actually never have Totodile at just below half health, which is the most ideal way to do the fight.
Alright, so it looks like I've got a plus speed Cyndaquil, but the downside is I've got minus attack, so... speed will come in handy for later on, when we get to Volkner. That's not for a while, though, so... I'm just returning to the lab and naming my rival one character, again, for text purposes, just faster to do it that way.
You go on W, surely.
Oh, yes, sure.
I went J for my rival.
Sure.
I also named my Cyndaquil J, though, so it might be a bit confusing. So I also use the little PC here to heal Cyndaquil back up. You can use a potion. It is slightly slower to do that, though. And also, healing items are quite scarce in this run. It's very possible to run out of potions and run out of super potions. So this is the catching tutorial JT was talking about and why we're playing as the girl. So the opposite number. So if I was playing as the boy here, it would be the girl showing me the catching tutorial. And the girl kind of does a little dance where she shows you how to catch Pokemon without it actually entering a battle. And so that wastes an extra about 7-8 seconds. So it's faster to pick the girl, so the boy does the tutorial. Because the girl actually pays attention.
Any chance for a quick donation?
Yep.
Rightio, we have $75 from Anonymous with no comment. So thank you for that donation.
Yeah, so the only thing you can basically mention in this catching tutorial is it is possible to lose time. It's not possible for this Rattata to die because crits are disabled, the ball always works. But the Marill can have either of its abilities. If its ability is huge power, it does more damage, and I got huge power. You can see Rattata took like half health. And in Gen 4, one of the things that's really noticeable about these games is the HP bar takes a long time to decrease. So you actually lose a tiny bit of time just by watching the Rattata's HP drain a bit more than you would otherwise. There's just so many little time saves and losses like that throughout the run. But so now that I'm done with the catching tutorial, I'm going to start running through this grass because I want to catch a Sentret in this area. And so I'm running to increase the encounter rate and to get through the area quicker. I actually don't know Sentret's encounter rate. It's something like 40%.
Yeah, 40%. Sentret is used as the HM friend, as I like to say. So
HM friend.
HM friend.
I'm not quite so nice.
Yeah.
Alright, so I got Eccentric's second encounter, so I'm only going to weaken this once and then start throwing balls, because I did almost half, and I don't want to accidentally kill the Eccentric. If it was a level 3, I would probably weaken it twice, but I got it first ball anyway.
The Eccentric also has a 10% chance of having an Oranberry, and we don't want that to activate.
Yes. Also, if you can catch Eccentric with an Oranberry, you can then use it, which is almost never happened. I've actually never gotten that to work. I've never caught Eccentric with an Oranberry. The one time I weakened one twice, it had an Oranberry and used it up. I was so mad. So another small thing is after encounters, I mentioned that I'm walking when I have the option to run through grass because of the lower encounter rate, but right after an encounter, I will run for 2 tiles. The reason for this is you can't get an encounter for the first 2 tiles of an area. And after getting an encounter. So, after getting an encounter, it's better to just run those 2 tiles to save the 16 frames. And then start walking again.
Yeah, so I had to tackle my Eccentric twice because my tackle did hardly anything. Just to make sure I caught it. Having minus attack isn't that great, but once we get Embo, it won't be that bad.
Yeah, so Cyndaquil is... you would rather be using special attacks with its stats, but you have to make do with tackle for a while, and you also have to use normal type moves against the rival's Croconaw later on as well. So all of your stats are important. Special defense is also important again for that Croconaw, and then defense for all of the things that you're fighting up against, except the Croconaw. And then speed is mostly for Faulkner. So I have minus speed, but I'm not too worried about that. Because it really should just only be Faulkner where it might be an issue.
Alright, coming up for me is the first trainer that isn't your rival, Mikey.
Mikey's
He's got
a
Pidgey and a Rattata. Rattata can be a little bit mean because it has got Tail Whip and Quick Attack. But I'm definitely going to be free-shotting the Pidgey here because my attack is not that great. If your attack is good, you can two-shot this Pidgey, but mine is not so great.
Yeah, so I'm entering Violet now, and so I'm going to do something that may look a bit odd here, which is I'm going to enter the center and then just leave straight away. The reason that I'm doing that is simply to set the flag to be at Violet center if I do end up dying in the next little part of this run, because otherwise I would go all the way back to Cherry Grove and have to go through all of that grassy encounter area, which is very slow. And the chance of dying here is reasonable. You're probably more likely to win than lose, but it's quite reasonable that you can die throughout probably the first hour of this run. The early game is quite spicy, just like most Pokemon games. But so, okay, let's talk about why I'm picking and using Cyndaquil, or why both of us are picking and using Cyndaquil. It's one of the most common questions when speedrunning these games. Mainly because these games are obviously remakes of Gold and Silver, and in the speedruns of Gold and Silver you use Totodile. And so a lot of people would assume, well, in the remakes you should pick Totodile as well, but that is not the case. Cyndaquil is better for the remakes, and so there's lots of reasons why. But fundamentally there were just so many changes between the remakes and the originals, and every single change in the remakes favors Cyndaquil. So the first of which is... you have to do Sprout Tower in the remakes, and you don't in the originals. And so this is helpful for Cyndaquil, not just because you're fighting Bellsprouts here, and Cyndaquil obviously type-wise matches up better against the Bellsprouts than Totodile does, but also one of Totodile's main advantages in the originals is it can win fights even at a lower level, so it can go straight to Faulkner's Gym and win with Rage at level 7. So it gets a bit of an early game lead over Cyndaquil in the originals, whereas that doesn't happen in the remakes, because you have to go to Sprout Tower anyway. So by the time you get to Faulkner's Gym, you're level 12-13 regardless, and Cyndaquil can beat Faulkner at level 12-13, because it's got Ember by then. But other changes that really favor Cyndaquil are... the biggest one is actually Rival 2. Totodile struggles enormously with Rival 2 in these games. In the originals, you get the TM for Fury Cutter after beating Bugsy, and you can use that to beat Rival 2's Bayleaf. But you don't get Fury Cutter in this game, and the Bayleaf is a lot more formidable in the remakes as well. Crocodile does learn Ice Fang, but it learns it too late. It gets it at 21, Totodile gets it at 20, and at that stage versus the rival, you're only level 18, so you would have to do a lot of grinding to get there. Whereas Quilava is able to beat the rival's Crocodile, because the AI of the rival is particular in such that he spams Scary Face a lot. You'll see it when I get there, but basically Quilava's really good for that fight. But even just mechanical changes between Gen 2 and Gen 4, such as this game has abilities. So all of the abilities are the same between the starters. So Cyndaquil has Blaze and Totodile has Torrent, which effectively do the same thing, except Blaze impacts Cyndaquil's fire moves and Torrent impacts Totodile's water moves. And Cyndaquil uses a lot more fire moves than Totodile uses water moves, because Ember is a lot better on Cyndaquil than Water Gun is on Totodile, because Totodile likes to use physical moves. But yeah, so I've got Ember now, and so now I'm just going to be spamming Ember for quite a while. Another little minor tech that I'm doing in Sprout Tower, so Sprout Tower can have encounters on the higher floors, so like the one that I'm on now, and the one that I was on before. And one of the tech that I'm doing is, after each trainer fight, I'm actually bonking into the trainer on purpose, so I'm like running into them and then running away. The reason that I'm doing this is because of something called turn frames, which exist in pretty much every tile-based Pokemon game. But so a turn frame is frames while you turn, basically. It's actually more than one frame. In this game, it's 6 frames. Let me just think for a sec. No, I'm not going to take out this Rattata. I was considering it, because I still don't have extra experience. But so, it's if you're not in movement, so you're standing still, and you turn in a direction opposite, or not opposite, in any direction other than the direction that you're facing, you end up turning on the spot, and those are called turn frames. And the thing is, when you're turning and you're doing a turn frame, that actually counts as an encounter check, so there's a chance you can get an encounter while doing that. But so while bonking into a trainer, and then running away, like this, I make it so that those turn frames don't exist, because I'm in movement once I start bonking into the trainer. And so it reduces 1 step of chance of getting an encounter in Sprout Tower. It also is a tiny bit faster if you do it completely optimally as well, because you start bonking and then you can move. And so if you do it within 6 frames or 3 frames at 30 FPS, which is how it polls movement, you can save a tiny little bit of time. But so this is the first kind of really scary fight in the run, Elderly. So he's got 2 Bellsprouts, which are not scary, but he does have a Hoot Hoot, which is quite a menace. I also have not been checking my defense stat. Depending on what your defense is, this Hoot Hoot can do generally either 4 or 6 with Peck. And it's quite important. I do have enough health to just be able to take a hit and see. That's a good start. Yeah, so this is the big problem, is that it has Hypnosis. Okay, I woke up quite quickly there. Hopefully it just doesn't crit me here, and I'm fine. Excellent. I'll take that. So there's quite a lot of variance in the early game, especially in this run, because of it counters, and also having different stats, and the fights, because you're not one-hitting everything at this point in the game, can also be quite variant. So like even that Hoot Hoot, if Hypnosis had just kept me asleep for a much longer period of time, it would have cost a lot of time. And so I'm actually having a really good start, so I do have a little bit of a lead at the moment over JT, but that does not mean anything in this game.
It's true. I've had a bit of a tough start my end. Lots of encounters, lots of tackle misses, but yeah. That's how it goes sometimes with this category. It's the variance that you can get sometimes that you're seeing right now.
But yeah, like this race, like even if someone got a 30-minute lead, it would not be over until it's over, because the last fight can just be such an equalizer. It's ridiculous. I have been in one of these races on record pace going into the last fight, and then come in 5th, I think, in the race.
Yeah.
Quite ridiculous. But yeah, so now I'm coming up to the first gym leader, Faulkner. So Faulkner is a very, very variable fight. So his lead Pidgey has Sand Attack, which reduces your accuracy. And then his second Pidgeotto has Roost, which restores half his health, and you cannot do half his health. So if he just picks Roost and continues to pick Roost forever, you can just be super screwed.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to switch out here after 2 Sand Attacks so I can get my accuracy back, because I'm not hitting through that. So just going to sacrifice Sentret here. Come back in and then use Ember.
You'll see me hit level 12 on my screen. I did fight an extra Rattata at level 3 to get extra experience for this Hoot Hoot. Only do that if we run into that encounter. It does help do a bit more damage on this Hoot Hoot. I fell asleep. Alright, and this is exactly what Werster was talking about with hypnosis. I woke up straight away though, that's good. Yeah, sometimes you can just stay there for what feels like forever, waiting to wake up. That wasn't too bad though.
So... Okay. Oh, nice. That's a really good Faulkner. That's really nice. Didn't see any Roosts. My time is actually quite ridiculous right now. Like, I would be over a minute ahead of my PB with this start. So I was at really nice health, so that he hit me into Blaze. I kind of touched on the ability. So Blaze, Cyndaquil's ability, it increases his, or hers, mine's a girl, fire type moves by 50% when you're at or below 1/3 of your maximum amount of health. So when I was at 2 health there, you might have noticed my Ember did a lot more damage. And so it's really critical in that fight to be able to, ideally, get hit into Blaze and then be able to take Pidgeotto out. I did have Quick Attack, but I didn't need it in that scenario, just to be able to touch Faulkner at the end. And now you'll see JT take on Faulkner, and probably get a very different fight to what I got. Because that's the thing, with a race like this, you're very likely to see, between the two of us, how one fight can go really well, and then how the same fight can go really badly. Especially in the early game. Hopefully the fight does go well for you as well, though.
Yeah, so I had to switch out straight away. Find out that my Sentret's ability is Keen Eye as well on top of that, so that's a little bit of a time loss there.
Yeah, so one of the things that's quite dangerous about switching out straight away is it's possible to not take out the Pidgey in 2 hits with Ember. And so then if Pidgey Sand Attacks you when you come back, it can be really bad, because taking on Pidgeotto without full accuracy is just an awful time. So I'm getting the Miracle Seed here because you have to. The Miracle Seed is not helpful. You just have to talk to this guy, otherwise he talks to you. And it's slower if he talks to you. So now the wild encounter stuff is not quite so random because we have repels. So you can just use repels and not get encounters.
Alright, no Roost for me either. Got the nice grid there.
That's very nice. Okay, so me and JT will start to do slightly different paths at this stage of the run. Just ever so slightly different, because we buy a different amount of items. But also, I'm going to be getting an X attack in Union Cave here, which I'm still not convinced is actually the right strat, but I'm doing it anyway, just because it's different. And we're also going to start to pass spinners in this run. So spinners are trainers that, as their name suggests, spin around. And because they spin around, they are possible to dodge if you wait for them to turn in an opposite direction to the path you're trying to take. But if they're mean, they can spin towards you as you're trying to pass them. Just give me 1 second here. Oh my word! Oh no! So I tried to do a spinner setup on the third one, and I messed it up, and he hit me. This is such a bad spinner to hit. I am going to die.
Just crit. You'll be fine.
I have 2 health, and it's in the rain.
Oh dear.
No, I have super potions. Okay, I'm gonna start using super potions. This is really bad. But so if I did that setup correctly, that spinner couldn't have hit me. But you do get to see how they can spin and then see you. So the reason, if I'd done that setup correctly, what would have happened there is I would have only I would have only run up 1 tile instead of 2. That was the mistake that I made. But so the way spinners work is they can only spin in 32 frame increments, so just over half a second. So they can spin after 32 frames, after 64, after 96, etc. And so if you pause the game at specific times, or you wait for them to spin and then pause the game at a specific time, you can actually time right in between a window to be able to pass them with complete success rate. And so you saw me do what we call step back on the first 2 spinners, where I wait for them to spin, then I walk 1 tile and then pause, and then I check to see if they're looking the way that I'm trying to pass. And if they're not, then I feel safe that I can pass, because 32 frames should have passed, but only just over 32 frames. So that when I walk past, which takes 16 frames, it shouldn't have reached 64 frames, so it should be safe. Also, I used a super potion on that spinner. He did not attack me once. So I won. That was really funny. So some spinners as well, if you run into them, or if you try to run past them, they will hear you and always turn towards you. So the spinners in Union Cave are like that. This one is not, even though it kind of looked like it was, because he turned towards me as I tried to pass him. But that was just bad luck and bad execution at the same time. So there are slightly different routes that you can do here at Azalea Town going into Slowpoke Well as well. I don't really have the option to go into Slowpoke Well without taking the center though, because I used all of my Ember PP on that spinner. So I have to enter the center before going to Slowpoke Well and heal Quilava so that I can get my Ember PP back before going into Slowpoke Well. So the different routes you can do here is you can take the center afterwards, because you're generally quite low health after Faulkner, which means you can take advantage of the fact that you would be in Blaze health, and Blaze can be very helpful in Slowpoke Well. It is also safer to, especially in a marathon, take the center here, so just in case there is a death in Slowpoke Well, again, go to Azalea instead of going all the way back to Violet.
Yeah, so at this point in the quote-unquote plot, Team Rocket has taken over the town here in Azalea Town, and Kurt has had enough of them, so we're going to go to the Slowpoke Well. They're selling Slowpoke tails, I believe, which is an interesting choice of things to sell, and it's up to us to save the day. So Kurt goes running off into the well to try and take on Team Rocket by himself. And then when we get there, we find out that Kurt's back conveniently got, I think it's like misplaced or out of place or something, and he can't move, so it's up to us to save the day and save Kurt from Team Rocket.
Did you just say his back got misplaced? Like he forgot where his back was?
Dialogue, but he says something along that line.
Doesn't he say his back is broken? In like,
yeah. Oh, something like that, yeah.
I think he might say that in the originals.
Okay. But yeah, it's out of place, and it's up to us to save the day in Slowpoke Well here. You also see me use a repel because I bought those 2 extra ones.
I do not repel, yes.
Yeah,
so the encounter rate,
Yeah,
the encounter rate in here is quite low. So like I mentioned, in a cave in Johto, the second call is only 10%. So even running, it's 4% per tile, and there's not that many tiles here. One thing that I do have to pay attention to though, because I used a super potion early, which I didn't want to, I might want to pick up this super potion here in the well, but I'm still not going to. The reason that I'm not going to is it would increase the encounter rate. So I was talking about the opposite directions before. So I actually already have one opposite direction in Slowpoke Well, because when you exit Union Cave, you do it facing down, and your first tiles going into Slowpoke Well are up. And so that Pokeball there is a Super Potion. But to pick it up, I would face upwards and then move down, and so that would trigger an extra opposite direction, and so it would increase my encounter rate. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get an encounter. But yeah, so these Zubats especially can be very annoying because they have Supersonic, and getting confused and hitting yourself is just awful. And so they're the main thing that if you had Blaze, it would be really nice, because generally with Blaze you one-hit the Zubats, and without Blaze you don't. It ends up being the point of difference throughout Slowpoke Well. You can see, like just there with me, it just lived, but it used Leech Life, which isn't too bad, just a little bit of time loss. Much better than getting confused by Supersonic. I do have a bit more extra experience than I usually do, so I do have, like, I've hit 16 before this Zubat, which you don't usually have. Might give me a bit more of a chance. But the difference between 16 and 15 isn't huge on the damage. I could talk a little bit about, so damage boosts actually happen. The way the damage formula is calculated in Pokemon, your level actually has an impact. It's not just your stats. And it's the way that it's done, it happens so that when your level reaches a number that ends in 3, 5, 8, or 0, you get a boost to the amount of damage that you're doing. So the difference between how much damage you do at level 14 and 15 is quite significant, but the difference between 15 and 16 is pretty insignificant, because the level actually has more of an impact than your stats do from level to level. I really should have checked my stats at level 16, because I'm not going to reach 17. So another difference, and this is probably the key difference that's going to happen routing-wise for a while, is I'm going to do Rival 2 early, and JT's going to do Bugsy early. So after the Slowpoke Well, you have a choice of fighting either Rival 2 or Bugsy, and I'm going to go fight Rival 2, and he's going to go fight Bugsy. So the reason I'm going to go fight Rival 2 is because my special defense is quite high. And so because I have quite good special defense, I feel quite confident in taking on Croconaw now. But my special attack isn't great, so I would like to have the extra special attack for Bugsy. Also, because I still have Sentret in my party, it's going to work out so that I'm going to kill off Sentret against Rival 2, because there's a double fight inside Bugsy's gym that you can skip by only having one Pokemon in your party or one Pokemon alive. So you can either deposit Sentret or kill it off somewhere. And so I'm going to kill it off at Rival 2 before going into Bugsy's gym. So ideally avoid going back into the center again. I'm just going to take it a little bit safe and use a potion before this fight in case I get turn 1 curse from Ghastly. My health is really low though, but I do have good special defense. I should be fine against Croconaw. I should be fine. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so Kurt specializes in making different types of Pokeballs, and we get given the fastball for saving him. We don't actually use that in this run, although if either of us... Why did I try and use the bug there? If either of us encounter the legendary dog, I don't even think we're going to be using it either.
Yeah, it is. So it is slightly faster. I mentioned we're not going to be getting Raikou in this run. It is slightly faster to still use Raikou for Manipless runs. But you would have to just encounter it right after you release it and then just chuck the fastball and hope it works. It has like a 1 in 64 chance of working. He's still guaranteed a water gun there, isn't he? That's not good. Okay, so he's going to water gun here, but I'm going to hope that it doesn't kill. It's only got a 1 in 16 chance of killing. Yeah, he crit me, so I died. Okay, so that's a loss. That's just unlucky. You just crit with water gun.
Yeah,
nothing you can do about that.
Very unfortunate.
There goes my X attack, though. So I don't know if that's a fallback on next time. I'm still going to try and beat him early.
Oh my god.
So I talked a little bit about how the damage calculation works, but so with this Croconaw is a really good example of how the damage spread works. So after doing the damage calculation, there's actually a range of damage that it can do. So after doing the damage calculation, it then tabulates everything from 85% to 100% damage. So 85, 86, 87, so just the whole numbers. And then it can do any of those 16 values. But the thing with Pokemon is it rounds down at every single step of the calculation. So, for example, this Croconaw with Water Gun, say its base damage is 8 after doing the damage calculation. Then it would do the same type attack bonus, which is 1.5 times to 12, and then it's super effective, so 24. So that's the max it can do. But if you then take 0.99% of... Have I done the right thing here? No, I think I was supposed to take into 3. Oh, good. Okay, I'll switch now. 99% of 8 is 7.92. So it would then round that down to 7. And then 7 times 1.5 for the stab is 10.5. It would then round that down to 10. And then times 2 for super effective, it would be 20. So it's actually impossible for Croconaw's Water Gun to do 21, 22, or 23 damage. It jumps straight from 24 to 20, and 24 being the max roll, and then everything else is 20, and then there would be some 18s beyond that as well. And so it's really important to be able to recognize that, because you might think, oh, that Croconaw can do 24 damage, and then be at 21 health and think, oh, well, it's definitely going to take me out then. But it's actually not. It's not a risk to use Quick Attack here. Even if I hurt myself, I still won't die. But I will heal now. I'm not going to risk this. It's a shame. My first roll was good against Zubat. It did half, but the second one did less.
Alright, meanwhile, I've just beaten Bugsy, which is good. Believe it or not, even though you have a fire type and you have the type advantage over Bugsy, Bugsy can be really, really scary with Leer, Focused Energy, and Quick Attack. Leer lowers your defense, Focused Energy increases his crit chances, and Quick Attack can do a lot of damage if he uses a lot of Leer, so I'm happy that I got past him first try. And now I'm going to go do Rival 2 while Werster's heading into Bugsy's gym, so...
Yeah, we timed that perfectly, like you're leaving right as I'm going in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the perfect fight against Bugsy is you use Ember, it does just under half, and then he hits you into Blaze, and you use another Ember, and it does just over half, so you end up not triggering his Citrus Berry. The problem is like JT says, he has status moves along with Quick Attack that he can use, and it's random which ones that he picks. Except if Quick Attack can kill, he'll always pick Quick Attack. And because he uses Focus Energy as well, increasing his crit chance is just really bad. Because it increases it from 1 in 16 to 1 in 4. And so you can be sitting there thinking, okay, he's going to use Quick Attack, hit me into Blaze, and then I'll just kill. And then he's got other ideas and he just crits you and it's all over.
Alright, I got Curse turn 1. Not great, but it's still winnable. Yeah, this fight is not very nice, especially when I have a minus attacking Kolava. Almost said Cyndaquil there, but I remember it evolve, so...
Yeah, so you generally don't want to do Rival 2 early with really bad attack, because the extra levels to get the extra attack against Croconaw is really good. But yeah, you can see both from my fight and now JT's against Rival 2, he really likes to use Scary Face with Croconaw. If you don't have -6 speed, so that's the lowest a stat can go, so Scary Face reduces it by 2. So before he uses 3 Scary Faces, he's 80% chance, or just over 80%, to use Scary Face if he can't take you out. Oh, that's a crit, but I lived. So that's actually a perfect cipher. And was exactly what I was talking about. The first Ember did just under half, and then the next one did just over half. So that works out really well. So in that case, I actually wanted him to crit me, to put me into Blaze so I could get that. The bad thing would have been if he didn't crit me the first turn and then did crit me after that with Quick Attack, because that would have taken me out. So in my case, it was actually really good that I still did Rival 2 early, because you can see if I had just a little bit less level, I would have lost to Scyther there.
I was going to mention that I won't be teaching Flame Wheel because of my minus attack, but I accidentally clicked yes. But...
Yeah, so this is kind of the main fights for Quilava are finished. It does have a couple of cameos later on. So Flame Wheel is a powerful move. It is 60 power, but it is a physical move, whereas Ember is a special move. So Ember runs off special attack, Flame Wheel off physical attack. So because JT, yeah, has really bad physical attack, he may as well just use Ember on the things that he's going to be attacking. But I did teach Flame Wheel on purpose, because I do want it for those cameo fights. And so now the routes kind of realign, and you can see JT's actually got the lead.
Yeah, so now we're heading to Ilex Forest, and we have to catch 2 Farfetch'd. So there's a little bit of downtime here, so any donations or anything you want to say, now's the perfect time to do it.
Fantastic. Well, we do have a $45 donation from Kenora, who says, $15 for every time I swore. Sorry. I'm positive more will come out of Saturday's run. Love y'all. Money towards Charon incentive for Hades. Is it Karen? It's Karen, isn't it? And just while we're here, I'm also going to remind everybody of who we are. We are Oz Speedruns, a group doing speedrun events to raise money for charity. For this event, we're raising money for Beyond Blue, a charity working to raise the awareness of mental health issues and reduce the stigma around those issues to help people achieve their best possible mental health. If you'd like to donate, you can go to donate.ozspeedruns.com. You can also chuck in ! donate in the chat, and while you're there, check out our awesome donation incentives, like the Charon fight in Hades. That is currently sitting at just over $230, and that is of a $500 goal. So we're just under halfway, and we need to get our skates on to really reach that goal in time.
Perfect timing. All right, so you see my repel just wear out before this bush, and you might have seen me use the repel in the middle of a road there. That's big to save a menu, so we can repel and teach cut in the same menu there. Ah, thanks, Rex. Rex is one of my IRL mates. Thanks for coming out. So yeah, we're just going through the forest. Not much really to talk about here, other than this is the second kimono girl that you meet. The kimono girls were also introduced in these games. She needs to know how to get out the forest. It is quicker to say no, we don't know which way to go out, because if you say yes, she does an extra line of text, which is quite interesting way to do it, and your Pokemon knows the way out. I'm going to be picking up a couple of hidden items here. They come in really handy, the Full Heal and the Ether. Full Heal is to heal any status problems, and the Ether is to increase power points. Is that right? I'm saying that? Increase power points? Or yeah.
Raises your PP. But yeah.
That's what I was after, yeah.
So, I actually think this is a good time to talk about the history and the routes of this category.
Oh, yes.
Because we're about to switch mains. So, this category, it was the de facto category before we actually understood how to use RNG manipulation in speedruns. And so back in 2012, 2013, me and Eatcast would go back and forth, and the route then was still to pick Cyndaquil, but to use it all the way until the end of the game, and then catch Mewtwo to beat Red. Because Red, who's the last fight in this run does go all the way to Red, is extremely difficult. He is so much more powerful than every other trainer in the run, such that we could not beat him with Typhlosion, so we had to go catch Mewtwo to be able to beat Red. I think at some stage we did actually try to use solo Typhlosion, even before we were doing RNG Minute, but I don't think I ever completed a run with that. I'm pretty sure my PB was still winning with Mewtwo. But I think those might have been Sticky Barb strats. Manipless
Yeah.
Typhlosion. Oh man, sticky barb strats. What a time. But so we then, once we figured out RNG manipulation, we just started doing that. And I don't think anybody started really doing Manipless runs by themselves until you did, JT, like many years later.
Yeah, so probably around 2018, I came back to the category to mainly have a break from the normal any percent glitchless, and I was using the solo Typhlosion route. And then in late 2020, the great werster, the man himself, thought it would be a good idea to use level 50 Magikarp, and I thought that would be a great idea. And I'm pretty sure I was the first one to do runs of Manipless before it really kicked into gear. And yeah, managed to get the first ever sub 4 Manipless, so pretty proud of that one. Yeah, and it really kind of boomed just because of how accessible it was to everybody and how friendly the category was as a race also. It was really nice to see, Heart Gold, which before this was traditionally wasn't the greatest game to run Manipless, is now one of the best, if not the best in the Pokemon series to run.
Yeah, this is actually an extremely accessible category for people to run, because you can just take any stats, you can just do a run, off you go, boom, and you can get all the way to the end no matter what. You don't have to reset for stats, you don't have to reset to hit really specific manips. So the manipped runs of this, we both run as well, and is still a great category in its own right, but is awful for races and for marathons, because the way to get manip involves starting the game at a specific frame, at a specific time, and then doing every single tile movement in a specific way to hold manip. And if you don't do that, you can't complete the route. It just doesn't work anymore. Whereas this category is, you can always complete it, no matter what. But yeah, so like JT said, this category really took off as a race, and we got a really good community going, doing like the weekly races from late 2020. And one of those improvements that we found after using the level 50 carp was to actually use this little free Spearow, who's named Kenya as well, in the middle part of the run before getting the carp. So one of the great things about this little Kenya is it always has the same stats, which makes this part of the run a bit more predictable. It just outclasses Quilava at this point of the run. Unless the Quilava is manipped and just has insanely good stats. The Spearow is also female, so it can't get hit by Attract or Cute Charm against Whitney, especially. Because Whitney's Pokemon are all female. It also gets boosted experience because it is not your Pokemon. My word, that is a bad start. So these Jigglypuffs, because Kenya does have set stats, like I know all of the chances for these things to be taken out in one hit. These Jigglypuffs has a 14 in 16 chance of dying in one hit. I missed the first one and then it put me to sleep. Very
I
unlucky.
also missed the first one, but it was a bit more lenient to me. Used Defense Curl.
But yeah, so the extra boosted experience means it'll get 21 just before Whitney, which will make it evolve, and then Fearo's just really strong at this point of the game. And comes with some nice moves, especially with Aerial Ace as well.
Yeah, they're quite nice in the remakes, giving Kenya level 20. I believe in the originals it's either level 10 or 15, I forget.
10.
10, yeah. So it's quite nice that they gave it a little bit of a boost in this game.
But Kenya is used in most runs just as another HM friend, because it's a free Pokemon and it learns Fly, which is obviously one of the HMs, and it will be getting Fly in this run as well. But this is the run where it really gets the spotlight, because it does get used as the main for a little while. Also going to teach Mirror Move here at level 21. Mirror Move is used once, ideally, against Whitney, but the main reason to actually teach Mirror Move here is, so Pokemon in this game, typically when they evolve, they learn their moves later, and so Fearow would try to learn Mirror Move again if you didn't teach Mirror Move there, and so it's faster to actually teach it than to not teach it twice. But also Mirror Move is used.
Alright, coming up for both of us is Whitney. Now, Clefairy can be nice to us, or it can be a bit of a troll. Hopefully it's nice to me. Okay, use double slap. That's not the greatest. It's also not the worst. It can use metronome, which has access to almost every move in the game. I think there's like a couple of moves that I can't use, but yeah, that can be pretty mean sometimes.
Yeah, there are a couple that it can't use. The worst is like it can just take you out with like explosion straight away.
Yeah. I think I might have to heal here, unfortunately. Yeah.
That's fine. Metronome Magnet Rise makes no impact. That's all good.
Alright, hopefully we get the flinch here with mirror move.
Yeah, so using Leer on Miltank,
Yeah, nice.
because don't want to allow Miltank to use Milk Drink.
Clean fight for me. Hopefully it goes well for Werster too.
Miltank might actually use Rollout here. It did, that's unlucky, so I can't mirror move now. I have to go for Aerial Ace. Oh, good. Alright, so pretty even at this point of the run. Very good for a race. Yeah, so Kenya, it does have... Oh, I should say Furo. I'm just so used to calling it Kenya. It's got quite good attack and speed for this point of the run. And Aerial Ace is really nice. The next gym as well is Morty's gym, which is Ghost type. And because it's normal type, Ghost type moves don't work on it. So it ends up being a really nice matchup there as well. And having access to a physical move as well, because the Ghosts have pretty bad defense. Ends up being really nice. Should mention as well, this run, Manipless, is also glitchless. We will not be doing any glitches in this run. You can do a few skips. Once you get the bike, you can skip large portions of this game with some glitches. But that will not be happening in this run.
Here's also a route that you don't see in the regular any percent glitchless, is Route 35. So in the normal run where you can use Manip, you can just skip this entire route by using Abra's teleport, so you do get to see this part of the game.
So there's a couple of spinners on this route as well. I'm going to try for a setup here on the first one.
And I'll be using a different method, the running method, so as long as he's not looking at me, I can run past him without them actually seeing me. So two different methods you'll see here.
Yeah, so I mentioned the 32 frame thing for the spinners. So that their timer starts as soon as they're loaded. So if you get to a spinner at a really specific point and you open the menu, you can just see if they have spun, like if you do the movement perfectly up to that point, if they have spun, okay, I can't pass. But if it's clear, you're guaranteed to be able to get past. This one's pretty tricky because it's on the bike the whole way. But if I do it correctly, it is also fine.
A little bit slow, but I got past mine.
Yeah, see? Just like that. That was a perfect showcase of it. Because you could see him, he was looking that way, and he just spun away as I opened the menu. So I could see just because of that, it was a perfect pass that I could just go through. You'll also notice us sometimes use moves that aren't necessarily the best option. In that, like, we'll use Pursuit, which is only 40 power on Furo to take some Pokemon out. But that's because it will take it out anyway, and so it's just conserving Aerial Ace PP, the better move. Also because Pursuit has less characters, and so there are quite a number of instances throughout the run, more towards the mid-game, where we'll use a move simply because it has less characters in its name, just to save those frames in text all the way throughout the run. Now, I actually think my Quilava's at really low health. I actually think I'm going to heal it before this double fight. So after this Sudowoodo, there's a double fight where you'll use both Furo and Quilava at the same time. And you don't want either of them to die. You want them both to stay alive. It would be nice to have Blaze. Actually, I might use an Oran Berry so that I stay in Blaze, but I do have a little bit of buffer health. Because this this girl question mark here gives you orange berries. I actually have no idea who this character is. Do they have a name? The berry person.
Yeah, I don't know, actually. Good question.
Isn't it? I think it's the sibling of the person who gives you the squirt bottle or something.
Yeah.
I am not supposed to repel there. Wait, no, I am! Oh, I made a mistake there. No, I wasn't, because the repel was still active. Okay, I'll repel here. Repel, and I'll use an orange berry on Quilava. Because Quilava also does have a little bit of a cameo. There's a third rival fight coming up in Ecruteak City in the next town that we enter, and it does have a cameo there to take out his Magnemite, because Fiero does not have good moves to beat Magnemite, whereas Quilava does.
Growl's really bad for me. Alright.
Now, Growl's not too bad because you're using Ember.
Yeah, but Kenya though.
Yeah, still does matter for Kenya, you're right. You can also use Start in these double battles to actually see the exact amount of health that you have. Some people do not know this and get very confused when they see it. I'll just show it off right now. Okay, that's good. Got the left side. That's perfect for me. Encore saves a little bit of time in that you don't have to select the move as well. You just have to hit fight, so it saves a little bit of text. But you don't get to choose which one you hit. So for that first turn there, it was actually random which one Kenya went after. But it went over the left side, which is good, because I wanted to take out one side of the fight before I start attacking the other side, so that now there's nothing attacking me, like on this turn, for instance. This is an exceptionally good fight for me.
Oh, unlucky. Didn't quite get it. No.
Alright, so there's a tiny... So, entering here because we have to at some stage. We can do this later, but we're doing it now because we want the experience on Kenya now. It's slightly faster to talk to this rocket from the right. Woohoo! Like this. Because the rocket will exit the screen after this cutscene, after I beat the rocket. Faster, talking to them from the right, because they'll exit on the left side. So by talking to them from the right, they'll have, like, hit back to the left. And then they'll just move off screen to the left a little bit quicker.
Yeah, you see now that Werster has taken the lead because I do an extra menu there to repel and also Aether Aerial Ace in that menu. I also had to heal Kenya because I was quite low on health. So now he has taken the lead.
Yeah, hopefully this can be like our race just before ASM started. We had like 35 lead changes throughout the race. It was absolutely incredible. But yeah, so now we're going to go to the mart and buy a few things, and I'll do the healing and ether menu in Burnt Tower. So we're just going to buy one netball. That's going to be for Magikarp later on. Now, I'm actually going to buy 2 revives here. I'm only going to get 1 super. And then we'll get 3 pairs. But yeah, there's a few things like the money route in this run where you do have a little bit of flexibility in what you can buy, and so a lot of it's kind of like up to the runner's choice and preference for what you're doing. So me and JT, we do buy slightly different items throughout. Like I was buying less repels and going through some areas by not using repels, but then I had more money to buy some other stuff. So this is going to look weird, but I'm actually going to revive Centric.
I was actually going to do the same thing.
And then Ether, and Super Pal. So the reason I'm reviving Centric is I'm going to switch out in the middle of this fight to the Magnemite, because I have to get to Quilava. My Quilava's on really low health though, so if I switch to Quilava, Quilava could just die. Magnemite could just take it out. But by reviving Centret, I'll switch to Centret, sacrifice Centret, and then get to Quilava. And then Quilava will be in Blaze against Magnemite, which means it will definitely take out the Magnemite in one hit. Whereas without Blaze, it wouldn't necessarily do that. Magnemite is also a troll in its moves, so I don't want to give it any moves. So this way is just a little bit safer in taking it out, because it has both Supersonic and Thunder Wave, which is just not good moves. Magnemite, so we'll go to Centret. If Magnemite doesn't kill me on this turn... Okay, Thunderwave, it didn't. I'm actually going to play a little bit safe and use a potion on Firo, just while I'm waiting for this to take me out. I can use Ember here. Ember or Flame Wheel will take this out in Blaze. But Ember has less text than Flame Wheel, so just save a little bit of time. So now Croconaw will come out. I'll use Leer once, and then Croconaw will take me out. So lowering Croconaw's defense will make it nice and tender for Kenya. Again, this does like to spam Scary Face though, and it does have Ice Fang, so it can actually be a bit tricky, which is why I use that potion. Oh, Scary Face missed. That is perfect. Absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous fight. After one Scary Face, it ends up being faster, and so it either uses Scary Face and then Ice Fang, which is really bad, because then it can flinch or freeze you, or even take you out. Or it uses two Scary Faces, and then the Zubat's faster than you and it can confuse you. So getting Scary Face miss is beautiful. Okay, and that's Rival 3 done. And so now we're going to release the Legendary Dogs. So at this stage, we've talked a few times that this is where you can catch Raikou, because Raikou and Entei now get released into the wild, and you can encounter them just in the grass on routes. And so an absolutely ideal run would now just go encounter the Raikou and then just catch it, but that's just so enormously unlikely to happen without manipulation. It has happened before to the great Tucker in a race. He has deliberately hunted for the Raikou and caught it in the fastball straight away. But the Raikou ended up actually not performing that well in that run. So the record is still by Tucker in this category with Gyarados. It's just far, far more consistent.
Alright, I've just beaten Rival 3 also, and we're now heading to Morty's gym, which is a ghost gym, and there's lots of trainers here who don't really threaten us or do too much until we get to Morty himself, so now's a perfect time for any donations or anything you want to shout out.
Alright, well, I will just take this opportunity to remind everybody that we are Oz Speedruns, a group doing speedrun events to raise money for charity. For this event, we're raising money for Beyond Blue, a charity working to raise the awareness of mental health issues and reduce the stigma around these issues to help people achieve their best possible mental health. If you'd like to donate, you can go to donate.ozspeedruns.com, chuck in !donate in the chat, and while you're there, check out our awesome donation incentives. We have an upcoming donation goal for a Jack and Daxter the Precursor Legacy glitch exhibition. That is at $105 of a $500 goal, and that is our soonest upcoming goal. Those are the words I wanted to use. I'd also like to highlight the world's hardest game, which is the very last incentive of the marathon. That is sitting at $345 of a $2,000 goal. And just while I still have the microphone on, we are currently $153 away from reaching $7,000. Now, chat, we are about 3 hours left in this run. I reckon we can hit $7,000 by the end. What do you think?
I absolutely reckon we can do that. And if you aren't sure about what incentive you want to put your money to when you're donating, I would definitely recommend putting it towards the world's hardest game. I definitely want to see that guys. But yeah, so this gym, this is the last thing that good old Kenya is going to do as the main poke. We are going to switch mains after this. I'll talk about it a little bit now, and obviously while it's happening as well. But so the main we're going to switch to, which we have mentioned a few times, is we're going to catch a level 50 Magikarp. And then use Gyarados. Obviously, we're not going to use Magikarp forever. Magikarp's very bad, but Gyarados is very, very good. So the way we're going to catch a level 50 Magikarp is on the route just before Lake of Rage. You can catch a level 50 Magikarp. The levels of the Magikarps are from level 10 to 25, and then level 50. There's nothing between level 26 to level 49. It's just level 50, and so what you can do is, if you use a Repel with a Pokemon in that level range, which Fearow will be... Actually, just give me a sec while I do this movement. Uh-oh. Yeah, I fell off. I knew that was going to happen as soon as I didn't get the down movement. Okay, that's better. Yeah, it's quite dark here, and sometimes I just fall off. That's not generally where I fall off, but anyway. But yeah, so if you use a Repel with a Pokemon between level 26 to level 49, the way the Repels work is it only makes it so that Pokemon that are lower level than the Pokemon in the lead don't show up. So it ignores all of the Magikarps that are level 10 to 25 and will only generate the level 50 encounter. That being said, that doesn't mean if an encounter shows up... No. It does mean if an encounter shows up, it'll be a level 50, but it doesn't mean it performs the encounter check and then it's like, yes, generate an encounter, and so then it has to be a level 50. It performs the encounter check, and then if the Pokemon is not a level 50, an encounter just doesn't happen. So it can actually take a long time to get the level 50 encounter to show up, because it's only a 1% chance to get the level 50 if the encounter does show up. And the chance of getting an encounter, once you increase the encounter rate, we're going to be doing the opposite direction thing that I mentioned earlier, is 10% to get an encounter. So overall, it ends up being a 1 in 1,000 chance every time you move around in that water, if you're doing this Repel trick, to get the Magikarp. So alright, first we'll talk about the Mortifight. So the Mortifight can actually be quite tricky. I've also been switching between Aerial Ace and Pursuit. I would rather be using Aerial Ace on these Pokemon because it's not super effective, so it's faster. But I can't use Aerial Ace on all of them. I am going to be using it on this Haunter because Aerial Ace does do more damage than Pursuit, even though Pursuit is super effective. Nice, got the range. So that's 50-50 to die in one hit to Aerial Ace, and getting that range is really good. Against the Gengar, though, I'm going to lead with Pursuit, do less damage, hopefully do less than half, and then take it out with more than half, because the Gengar holds a Citrus Berry, which activates when it's at half or less. So I do not want to activate that. I'm going to go for this. I'm going to go for this range. I'm going to use Aerial Ace here. You can use Leer if you don't want to risk this. Yeah, I didn't get it. But that's all good. And then for this last Haunter, you can't take this one out in one hit, but I'm going to hope that it uses Curse. So I'm going to use Pursuit to do just over half, and then hope it uses Curse and then takes itself out. Again, this is just random whether it happens. But it is the most ideal scenario. And mean luck. That's a shame. So I didn't get it there, so this time I'm going to use Leer while he heals up, because I don't want to put him into healing range again, and this time I'll just take him out in one hit. Alright, so that's Kenya's job done. Now it's just time to hunt for the Carp. So, as I mentioned with the Carp, it's a 1 in 1,000 chance on every tile, and so this is actually the reason we're playing on 3DS, is because what we're going to do is, instead of surfing around for lots of tiles and potentially using lots of repels up doing that, we're actually going to spin around on the spot, because as I mentioned before, when you do turn frames on the spot, that checks for an encounter, and it's also slightly faster than walking around if you do it completely optimally. And so by playing on the 3DS, we're going to be using the circle pad to do just that, to spin around in a circle on the spot. So just take control of the circle pad and just spin around in a little circle. Little optimization here, just moving up one tile here. So this guy spends less time in the cutscene, more time running, less time walking. But so the amount of time it can take to get the Magikarp is obviously between 0 seconds. It can just show up straight away. And I think the record is just over 10 minutes. Like 10.5 minutes, I think, is the worst we've ever seen.
Yeah.
The median time... So the the time that 50% would be under and 50% would be over is 69 seconds. So just over a minute.
I got a little bit of a trolley Morty fight, but we're finishing up here as well, so I'm not too far behind. But okay, I got the curse, which is good. So yeah, you saw 2 different fights there at least. Yeah, I got really trolled by hypnosis there, unfortunately, but that's just how it goes sometimes.
Alright, so as I mentioned, we'll do the opposite directions here for a little bit, just to increase the encounter rate. And then spin. Hello? Alright, we'll use the rappel again, I guess, because I did not spin. Spin. Here we go. Hope you're enjoying the ballet. My wrist is killing me, by the way. Damn it. Sorry about that black screen. That's just the cord of my 3DS coming out. I'm at a really awkward position now, trying to spin here. My finger's also going a bit numb. I can't really feel it.
Alright, well I managed to get mine, so let's go. My hands hurt though. So much pain. Alright, come on, we gotta bless up for Werster, guys. Get your Kevin Turtles in chat, help him out. Jeez.
Lost my position quite a few times on the circle pad.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, so I'll be picking up this rare candy. I don't think we've mentioned about rare candies yet, so I'll talk about it now. Rare candies increase your level by 1. Very, very useful item, especially when we want to evolve our Magikarp, which I'll be doing very, very shortly. Hopefully, Werster can get his. Get those
Finally.
turtles. There we go. Good
Whew.
stuff, guys.
Yeah, so I often joke that this is the category that proves that speedrunning is, in fact, a sport. Because the physical exertion that you have to do for spinning around on that carp, oh my god, the
100%
physical
agree.
strain. Oh, my arm is killing me.
And I don't think we mentioned yet either, the netball is 100% guaranteed to catch that Magikarp. Quite useful. Let me, do this. Alright, I've already got that up. Alright, and this is where I find out my stats in this menu, so we'll see. I did not evolve Magikarp yet. It's a bit hard to teach its strength when it's not evolved. Alright, now I'll evolve it. Okay, what have we got? 26, 20, and 95. The special attack is quite bad. Everything else is pretty decent.
Yeah, so the reason level 50 Magikarp is so good is because it's such a high level. And that obviously means it's got great stats, but another one of the huge time saves is that it simply doesn't level up that much. It saves several minutes just by not leveling up. So you don't have to watch the level up screen and see all its stats and whatever, because it's already got so many of the levels.
Alright, so I'm definitely minus special attack. Not what you want to see, but it's not the end of the world.
Oh, minus special attack's fine, man. It's like the best. What are you talking about?
I'm just worried for like Arbok ranges and stuff like that, and I'll definitely be able to show off different strats for Brock at least. 63 special's not that great. Okay, so we're going to switch
Ooh.
Gyarados and...
That looks like good speed on my one.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, with Gyarados, all of your stats are important, because it is going to be using physical and special moves. And it is going to be hit by physical and special moves. And speed is very consequential. I would say the most important one is speed. If you have bad speed, it can just be awful. Teach strength. Oops.
Yeah, so the reason why we don't get that shiny Gyarados is obviously it wastes time, and this Gyarados is 20 levels higher than the one in the Lake of Rage. The shiny animation would lose a lot of time, although they did use that red Gyarados in any percent for a while. Like that's, how many years ago was that, Werster?
Many.
Many years ago, yeah.
Oh my word! I almost missed the back ether. That was very close to just hopping the ledge. That would have been really bad. But yeah, so Gyarados, it has much higher attack than special attack, but Surf is still useful. Surf's a really nice move for this point of the game. It's just, even with poor special attack, it does still do a lot of damage. It is also a move that has a very low character count in 4, and also it hits multiple Pokemon in double battles. So in there's going to be a double battle in this Rocket HQ area here, where Surf's going to be very helpful. It also, so Gyarados almost has its full moveset already.
Mm-hmm.
It has 3 out of the 4 moves that it's going to use throughout the run. And another one is Waterfall, so it's another water move. So you might be thinking, that's not great type diversity, but if you've actually played Pokemon to a relatively high level, you would know Water Normal is actually fantastic type coverage. Especially in the early gens, there were very few things that resisted both Water and Normal. In fact, in Gen 2, there's none. So this is a Gen 4 game, so there are a couple, but you don't fight any of them in this run. It'd be like Shedinja, Empoleon, Giratina, and Dialga would be able to resist both. So Water Normal ends up actually being really, really good. And because I'm such a high level, well, we've got such a high level Gyarados, we're going to be plowing through regardless, just at neutral. But so some other moves that you might think are worth consideration, but actually aren't, some moves that Gyarados actually learnt at lower levels. So for example, Gyarados learns Dragon Dance by level up, which increases its attack and speed. It's not very useful because there's not many fights where you want to increase both your attack and your speed. and you've got X items anyway, so you can just spend the extra turn to use an X attack and an X speed. The only fights that it would be useful are Lance and Red. Another move is Ice Fang. Gyarados learns by level up, but you won't see because it's past the level. Ice Fang's kinda useful for some grass types, so like Erika, the grass gym leader, but not worth getting because it takes a long time to get a heart scale to relearn a move that it's already forgotten. And another one, I guess, is Earthquake. So Earthquake was used in early routes by GT, but it's not worth the detour to go and get. It is somewhat helpful because it's not a contact move, so you don't get hit by like static on Surge. But outside of that, it's not actually that helpful.
Yeah, at this point in the story, we are clearing out Rocket HQ. They're sending signals to force Pokemon to evolve, so it is our job, along with Lance, to clear out Rockets here. We're pretty much one-shotting everything here up until the double battle, so now's a great time for anything you want to announce.
Alright, we have a $153 anonymous donation that says, "You guys rock! Great runs and great cause."
Oh, so that got us to 7k.
Yeah, I reckon that's 7k.
And that has indeed taken us over $7,000. Congratulations, chat, and everybody else who has donated.
Awesome, thanks guys for your donations. Keep it up.
Awesome.
How's that end of the world incentive going?
So hardest game in the world, world's hardest game is currently sitting at $345 out of 2,000. So we still have a bit of a ways to go to get all the way there.
You can get there though, because that one's slated to be the last run of the marathon, and we've still
that's
got
literally the last thing that the marathon's going to have. So we have literally until the last domino falls of this marathon to get that one done.
I don't know if you saw your IVs in depth, GT. Well, not your IVs, but your stats in depth. But so when you teach the second HM, because you're teaching over a move, you can see your stats pretty in depth. So I call it my Gyarados. So my Gyarados is a rash nature, which is plus special attack minus special defense, which is just kind of okay. Special attack will help for the double battle coming up here, and not much else. My IVs are bad. So as I mentioned before, they're all IVs are a random number from 0 to 31, and so 31 being the best, 0 being the worst. My IVs are something like, so it could be one-off, but it's something like 11 in HP, 3 in attack, 1 in defense, 17 in special attack, 3 in special defense, and 10 in speed. So the only one that's above average is special attack. All of my other stats are below average.
I remember if 10 speed gets Jolteon or not. That's very important, that set.
Yes, so the most important speed threshold is whether you outspeed the Kimono Girl's Jolteon, which is not going to be happening for quite a while. With the speed that I have, I will actually be getting a Carbos in the Ice Path, so that I will outspeed the Jolteon, because it would be a tie otherwise, potentially. I hope I remember where the Carbos is. I gotta be honest with you, I haven't got it for like 7 months, but I'm pretty sure I know where it is. Yeah, so one of the moves we're going to be using a lot in this run that just saw its first use there for me is Flail. So Flail was just used there because it's a short text. It's not quite as short as Surf, which is 4 characters, it's at 5, but I need to save a few surf PPs. So where I can, I was just using Flail. But so Flail is actually a really critical part of this run with Gyarados. So the way Flail works is it does more damage the less health that you have. And so its power changes from 20 to 200, depending on how much health you have. And so the health is calculated as a fraction of your max health. And it's done in the very friendly fraction of 64ths. So if you have less than 2 64ths of your max health, Flail does 200 power. That's its max. Then if it's between 2 and 6 64ths, it's 150 power. Then between 6 and 13, it's 100. Then between 13 and 22, it's 80. Then between 22 and 43, it's 40. And then between 43 and max health, it's only 20 power. Which 20 power is about as low as it gets for moves. Do have Constrict at 10. But even so, Flail 20 does still kill those tiny little Rattatas because we're just so powerful as Gyarados at the moment.
Alright, so I'm coming up to the double battle here where we get to team up with Lance. So this Arbok is a range with Surf, but I won't be getting it because I'm minus special attack nature with a very low IV. So we just got to pray for the crit here. This Arbok can be a little bit mean and use glares, but ideally it just aims for the Dragonite. We also get given a level 40 Dragonite as our partner here in this battle. How Lance got it, my theory is that he actually used the signal that Team Rocket was using at the Lake of Rage to forcefully evolve his Dragonair. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
I reckon he just caught a low-level Dragonite.
That's true. Yeah, all that.
The simplest explanation. Often the correct one.
Okay, there's glare, but at least it missed.
Yeah, so I am going to get the Arbok range. In fact, it won't actually be a range for me, because my special attack is my only good stat. This is the only moment that I can relish in having a good stat, because all of my others are bad. My special defense being so bad is actually extremely concerning, because special defense it's generally the least important, except on the most critical fights. Those being the last two fights. Special defense is extremely important there.
Oh. I got the Thunder from Dragonite, but he missed.
Yeah, so this Dragonite generally just spams Fly.
It does have what I like to call the Thunder from Down Under, but didn't use it that time.
So in this case, when I actually get Arbok, him using Fly is ideal, because I then just won't hit Dragonite the next turn. Saves a little bit of time. Because Surf does hit your partner as well. But if you don't get the Arbok range, you would rather Dragonite than just finish off the Arbok. But it basically never does. Lance is useless.
Yeah. Alright, so the only way to stop the signal here is defeating these electrodes or catching them. If you run away from them, they will just respawn until you either defeat or catch them. So you have to do one of the others. It is quicker for us, obviously, to defeat them rather than catch them because we don't need electrode.
Yeah, it's a commonly asked question, can't you just run away? You actually can, but it doesn't progress if you do. Unlike the Red Gyarados or Sudowoodo, where you can just run and that does progress. Or Snorlax. So yeah, Surf is also nice to have a non-contact move to take out these electrodes, because these electrodes have the ability of static, and static paralyzes you, or can paralyze you, if you make a contact move. So using Surf to take them out is really nice. Also, slight optimization in we take the bottom electrode out last. That's because after you take out all of the electrodes, a cutscene starts, and you walk in the cutscene. So you want to be closer to the end point of the cutscene when it actually begins. So you want to take out the bottom one last.
Yeah, and for our hard work, we get rewarded with the HM05 of Whirlpool. In the originals, it is a TM, I believe.
No?
No? Oh, it is a HM.
It is a HM.
Okay. Sorry.
You're cooked, mate.
I am, yeah, clearly. Alright, and now we're going to go off to Price's gym. So if you look at your badge case, it actually has Price as a 750 milliliter, but because we're already here, it is just optimal to do Price now.
Yeah, so you can do any of Jim's 5, 6, and 7 in any order in this game, and that is intentional to have that bit of freedom. And then in Kanto, there's even more freedom for how you get the gym badges over there. But yeah, so in most runs, it's actually ideal if you can to still do them in order, the ones here. So Chuck, then Jasmine, or at least Chuck first, because after beating Chuck, you get Fly, and so then you can just fly and then come over to Mahogany, whereas we're going to have to bike back to Ekritique. But we had to go this way first, because this is where we caught the Magikarp. This is where we actually got the Gyarados, so didn't really have an option there. Just a friendly bike shop call.
Oh, I still haven't got mine.
Yeah, so the bike shop call, the way it works is kind of complex. It'll always happen in the run, so it doesn't actually matter when it happens in this category. But it's like there's a cooldown timer that counts down from like 10 minutes. And the bike shop won't call you until you've taken a certain amount of steps as well. And so it's just when that actually happens. So I would have gotten the call there, but JT didn't, because I had more time looking for the Magikarp to actually show up. Yeah, you might have been thinking that Rock Smash was a TM in the original.
Oh, that's probably what I was thinking of, yeah. Alright, up next is Price. Relatively easy fight here with a level 53 Gyarados.
Price is actually one fight that the strat can alter based on what your stats are, because you can't take out the Dugong in one hit. And so the move that you lead with actually depends on what your stats are. With really bad attack, you actually lead with Strength, because Strength you don't want to do over 75%, because that's when leaders start to heal. And with really bad attack, Strength can't do that much anyway, so you may as well just lead with it. With really good attack, you lead with Tackle, because you have good attack, Tackle plus Strength always kills, but Strength could have put him into heal range, so that ends up being ideal. With middling attack and good enough special attack, you actually lead with Surf. And that's the rarest occurrence, but that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough that I got to use a Tackle strat. Well, of course, you're risking the 5% chance that you miss Tackle there, but luckily that didn't happen. I think that's like one of the only instances that you'll see Gyarados use Tackle. You can use it in a radio tower in certain circumstances, but because we both picked up the Max Ether, you won't see that.
Yeah, the worst thing the Dugong can do here is use Aurora Beam and actually reduce your attack.
Yes.
So then you end up not being able to kill.
Has a 10% chance to lower your attack. It's really bad if that happens. There is a guide actually, yes. Oh my gosh. Check out the speedrun.com page or the DS Discord.
The DS Pokemon Speedrun Discord.
Yes.
Probably not just the DS Discord. But yeah, this is a super, as I've said quite a few times, it's a super accessible category to start running. I think it's the best Pokemon category to start running if you want to speedrun Pokemon games. The only thing that can be tricky with it is actually recording on console. But I mean, you can always just start without doing that.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of things are accessible, so if you don't have console, you can always run on emulator as well. Alright, so here is... never pronounce his name right. I'm going to call him Bob. And he runs the Safari Zone, and you're actually forced to say yes to him. If you say no, he'll keep asking you to give his phone number to you. So this is one of the instances where we will be registering him to the Pokegear because it is force. Every other, like normally every other trainer or everything else we would just say no to, it is forced to get his number.
So I actually call him Balboa.
Balboa,
Because
yeah.
that's not his name, but the in-game traded Onyx that you can get in this game is called Rocky. And so I think it's fitting to call this
nice.
guy Balboa.
Yeah, I like that. Nice. And I'm going to go off to the lighthouse where you'll see more spinners. One of them's the worst to hit. He's got 5 Pidgeys, so hopefully we don't hit any of them, but let's see how we go.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be doing some more spinner setups in the lighthouse. So for the first spinner that JT was talking about, the one that's got 5 Pidgeys, if you just open the menu straight away as soon as you get into the room and climb up the ladder, if he isn't looking down, you can safely pass, but you have to open the menu very quickly. It's a 3-frame window, question mark, I believe. So that would be 6 at 60 frames per second, which isn't too bad. But if you try and go a bit early, you're generally not going to get it again, because you're not going to tap the button to pause the menu twice, because if you do that, then you're going to open it and then close it. So you've still just got to time it nicely. Also got to make sure for these ones, though, to take off auto running shoes if you put them on. I do put on auto running shoes. I don't think JT does.
No, I don't think I ever have. I'm just too used to holding down B. And the one time I'll put it on, I'll like forget to turn it off or something.
Yeah, I have. See, I'm actually worse at forgetting to turn it on sometimes. Like, I just think they're on, and then I just start walking some tiles, and I'm like, what's going on?
Alright, I'll be grabbing this rare candy. It is a little bit of a detour, but it is actually one of the fastest rare candies to get.
So the setup I'm going to do for this second spinner is I'm going to run for a little bit and then start walking, so that it times specifically, so that when I get to the spinner, if I open and he's not looking that way, it's a free pass. Just like that.
Very nice. Alright, we both went spinnerless, which is really good. And
Oh,
now
I did hit one spinner.
Well, in the lighthouse?
Not in the lighthouse, but I have hit one.
Yeah, now we go and talk to Jasmine, who is a gym leader, who refuses to go back in, to a gym until Amphi is cured from its sickness. So it is now our job to go get its medicine and heal it. So while we're doing that, if you have anything to say, or donations, etc., now's a great time to do it while we're just doing this quest.
Alright, well I will take this opportunity to just highlight some of the really cool donation incentives that we have besides World's Hardest Game. So we actually have a bid war for Silent Hill 2's ending choice. Now, if you don't know, Silent Hill 2 has a handful of really fantastic endings, including the dog ending and the UFO ending, and I would highly recommend that you have a look around and pick which one you like, because that is a really, really fun run, first of all, and it's a really fun set of ending choices as well. Beyond that, we have the previously mentioned Jack and Daxter Precursor Legacy Glitch Exhibition. That's about a fifth fulfilled at $105 out of 500. So those two are two upcoming donation incentives that you can pick through. And just to remind everybody of who we are and what we're doing, we are Oz Speedruns, a group doing speedrun events to raise money for charity. For this event, we're raising money for Beyond Blue, a charity working to raise the awareness of mental health issues and reduce stigma around these issues to help people achieve their best possible mental health. If you'd like to donate, you can go to donate.ozspeedruns.com or type in !donate in chat.
Perfect timing. Alright. So you'll see me enter and then exit the gym. This is to make sure we skip all the other trainers and we can access the wrench, I think that's what it's called, in Chuck's gym to make him stop training underneath the waterfall. Nice little thing there that you might not have known about, where you can just exit and re-enter the gym and turn this thing off and then go fight Chuck.
Yeah, so exiting and re-entering it resets the position of the trainer that we fought. So he normally blocks access to getting up there if you fight him from the left side. But by fighting him and then resetting, he goes back to his position. You can get past. Get the winch. You got to be careful of that walker on the left side of the gym. If you do the first part as fast as you possibly can, that walker actually walks straight into you. So you do have to waste a little bit of time the first time you go through this gym.
Okay, so this polyref can also be a bit mean with body slam and hypnosis. I got lucky and it used surf, so thankfully it didn't happen to me.
Yeah, Chuck has bizarrely bad AI.
Yeah,
He's
it's
so
weird.
random in the moves that he chooses. Like, he will not always choose the best move that he has. Whereas other gym leaders do. Chuck is just weird.
Alright, now that we've both beaten Chuck, we're actually both going to take a slightly different route. Now, I'll be grabbing the Mystic Water, while Werster will be going straight to Jasmine. So, a little bit of a differential here. Because my special attack is not that great, I'll be grabbing it early, while Werster will be grabbing it later on.
Yeah, so we will still both be getting the Mystic Water, but
Yes.
I'll be getting it after the Radio Tower segment, because I don't actually need it for the Radio Tower segment. And it's it is slightly more optimal to get it afterwards, because just for menuing purposes, and also so I can, because you have to surf a little bit to get there, I can use a max repel there that flows into Ice Path.
Not sure if you're getting items, but I'm just getting a few safety items that I normally wouldn't get if I was doing proper attempts, just for marathon safety here.
I am not.
You're not? Alright, beautiful. So again, just something different.
So I mentioned before you can get Pokerus in this run, so when you're teaching these HMs, it's kind of the thing that I just kind of look for, because you can see it on
Alright.
see it on the screen if it's there.
Max Ether. So, beautiful. Alright, so I'll be flying off to Cherry Grove while Werster's going off to Olivine, as I mentioned. It's a little bit of a route change here, but... So now Werster will technically pull into the lead, but I'll be able to catch up after the radio tower.
I actually think I am in the lead slightly by like 1 second, because of the extra items that you bought.
There you go. Being safe has cost me.
Oh.
Alright, this time I'll go and save Amphi, unlike the previous race.
Yeah, a lot of runners have made very comical mistakes at this point, either forgetting to actually talk to Jasmine and then just going straight to the gym, or alternatively not going up the elevator on the second trip to the lighthouse and going through the stairs again. It's one of the great improvements that they made in the remakes, is giving you access to the elevator.
Yes, thank goodness.
Jasmine's one of these fights that can actually be tricky with a lot of different Pokemon. So, like, even with Raikou, Jasmine's actually a pretty tricky fight, because Steel's a hard type to hit. But water does hit it fine, so Gyarados is going to have no problems, even just with Surf at its level. And so we actually haven't even talked about, so here I went all the way around to talk to this guy, because if you look at this one, an exclamation mark pops up and then they walk towards you really slowly. That's actually really slow, and so all trainers do that. These guys obviously aren't trainers, but they still do that. And so in instances where you have the option to talk to someone who would talk to you otherwise, it is faster for you and Go to talk to them, just to avoid that little exclamation point. If you rewind the clock like an hour and 35 minutes, it's also faster to enter the Apricorn guy's house and get the Apricorn box, because if you don't get that, he also runs out of his house and gives you the Apricorn box, which is slower than going into his house and getting it. Even though you don't use the Apricorn box at all, no Apricorns will be gotten in this run. Okay, so that was Jasmine done nice and easy, and so this was another little change that they made into the remakes, in that, so now that I've got 7 gym badges, Elm's going to call and be like, yo, some weird stuff's going on, check it out. Actually, probably it's nothing, but it is something. So, you go off to Goldenrod, and you do the radio tower segment of the game. And so in this game, the way they had you infiltrate is to actually put on the Team Rocket uniform, which is just a really nice, cute touch in this game. And if you talk to any of like the NPCs in Goldenrod while you're wearing the Rocket uniform, they've got different dialogue being like, "Oh, I'm so scared. Also, do you want to buy something?" You know, so.
Also, a fun fact about the Team Rocket uniform is that you cannot use a bike while you're in that uniform. The game's just like, you cannot do that right now, which is quite a strange thing. I guess they just didn't make a sprite animation for that, but yeah. You can't use the bike for a little bit while you've got the Rocket uniform on.
You also can't fly, and
That's true, I forgot about that.
you can't leave town. Because, yeah, the alternate text for the NPCs is only in this area in Goldenrod. They didn't want to do it for the whole game. I must admit, when I first played the game casually, that was the first thing that I tried. I got the Rocket uniform and I'm like, oh, I'm going to fly to Elm and pretend that I actually was the robber. And so you talk to this guy, he lets you through because now he thinks you're part of Team Rocket, and then your rival comes by and strips you down and then reveals that you're not, because that's the identifier of whether someone's in Team Rocket. You can actually take off their clothes, because apparently every other Grunt member just has their Team Rocket uniform tattooed onto them or something.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting way to reveal that you're not with Team Rocket, but...
I forgot to grab candy! Every time!
No, I was just about to mention that too.
Every time! So you're supposed to rare candy from level 54 to level 55. I had somewhere else that I did this, and it worked, I think? Question mark? I've done this before in a race. More than once. I'm pretty sure it worked. Still. When I did it somewhere
it still
later.
works, it's just... Yeah.
I forget where it is that I use it, though.
Probably before Will, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, you always use them before Will. I mean...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, just use it there, I guess.
Nah, there was one that I use somewhere else. I think it's... Is it after the dragon in Claire, or it's after some trainer in Radio 2. I forget where it is, but I should be fine because my special attack is actually quite good. So usually the boost to level 55, as I mentioned before, you get a boost in power. That can actually be quite consequential as to whether you can actually take things out here, especially since I don't have the Mystic Water. You know, if my nature wasn't Rash, for example, I would still be able to skip the Mystic Water, but at level 54, I wouldn't. So there would be some things that Ooh. Could potentially live Surf, but because my special attack is so good, I think I should be fine. I just have to figure out where I'm going to use this candy. It'll happen at some stage. That is not the first time I've made that mistake, though. The thing is, I was thinking about it as I was flying to Goldenrod. I was like, oh, I'll talk about using this rare candy. And then as soon as I get into the fight, I always remember like half a second too late. As soon as I get into the fight, I didn't use the candy.
So you notice both of us fought the bottom trainer here instead of the top trainer. This trainer only has one Pokemon, and I believe the top trainer has 3, so it's quicker to fight this bottom trainer. A lot of these trainers inside Radio Tower are actually skippable, like you don't actually need to fight them with the correct movement. Hopefully we both get it and don't stuff it up. I have stuffed it up numerous times where I've messed up the movement in Radio Tower, but hopefully that doesn't happen today.
I did mess it up, but luckily the right way. I went too far instead of too little. Because yeah, a lot of the movement, it is very tight. And so that if you move one tile less than what you're supposed to, you'll run straight into a trainer.
Yeah, like there you can actually like skip below the scientist, but I intentionally take 2 steps down just in case I stuff up. Yeah, this guy's got the most unoriginal team of all time. 5 coughings and 1 wheezing.
So, I mean, the team, it was designed to kind of be a kamikaze team because all of his Pokemon explode. So all of the coughings know self-destruct and the wheezing knows explosion. The thing is, the way his AI works is that he won't actually use those moves straight away. You've got to actually weaken the coughings before they start exploding. So it just never actually happens.
Yeah, Radio Tower is one of the sections in the run where we talk about cricket because it is just such a long, drawn-out segment. So if you have anything, donations or anything you want to say, now's the perfect time to do it in Radio Tower because it's a pretty long segment. It goes for about 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, Noobs has had to step out for a quick sex and he got me Club Who. I apologise if these donations have been read, but I'll read them anyway. We have $45 from Kenora, $15 for every time I swore. Sorry, I'm more positive. More will come out of Saturday's run. Love y'all. Money towards Charon's incentive for Hades. And we have 153 anonymous donation. You guys rock. Great runs and great cause. And with that donation puts us over $7,000. So good job, everyone.
Cheers, Club Who. Thanks for stepping in as well. Club
Yeah,
Who, a legend of this marathon, for those people who do not know, is behind many of the things that is going on behind the scenes. And in front of the scenes as well, as the layouts have been very, very...
Yeah, they've been great.
Excellent. And...
That audio indicator's a bit lopsided, but alright. Do we have time for me to plug the stream?
Yes, mate. Go ahead.
So we are Oz Speedruns, a group doing speedrun events to raise money for charity. For this event, we're raising money for Beyond Blue, a charity working to raise the awareness of mental health issues and reduce around the stigma around these issues to help people achieve their best possible mental health. If you'd like to donate, please go to donate.ozspeedruns.com.
Alright, I just found out my nature is jolly, which is plus speed, which is actually pretty good. Minus special attack, not the greatest, but not the worst either, so we'll definitely take that. One of the better natures that you can get.
Yeah, so we also used the PC when we were coming out of the radio tower and just dropped Gyarados in and then got it straight back out. That's because if you put a Pokemon into the PC, it actually heals it. So it's just the fastest way to heal Gyarados instead of going all the way to a Pokemon Center.
The PC stands for Pokemon Center.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, we go to the PC instead of going to the PC. That's not really helpful. This Feraligatr is one of the
we're now
only
fighting our
Pokemon.
rival who chased us down into the basement apparently and he's looking for revenge on Lance. But he only finds us and wants to take out his fury on us. We really want for Alligator to come out second last, because if he comes out last, he has a text saying, "Oh, you know, oh, blah 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 blah." Well, you one-shot everything else on his team, but it seems to be random or maybe based on stats when he does that. I'm not 100% sure, but
Yeah, it'd be based on stats.
Yeah.
And obviously you just get very different Gyarados with very different stats. There's nothing you can do to control it because you've got the same Gyarados. You can't just head off and get another Gyarados just for that because it is very minor. So you just have to take what you get. I unfortunately did get Feraligatr last. So just tiny little bit of... I mean, it's not really time loss, but it feels like time loss. Everything feels like time loss when it's not optimal.
I did manage to get Sneasel last, so that's a little bit of time saved there. It all adds up.
And do this very, very tricky puzzle here. A lot of people actually, especially in the original, had so many problems with this puzzle, and it's just...
Oh yeah, I had a lot of problems as a kid in the original, and they made it so much easier in this.
Oh, it's the same! You just flick them all! That's it! It's exactly the same.
Wasn't there a certain order that you did it in the original though?
No, you just flick them all.
Oh, okay. For some reason I thought it was like 3, 2, 1 or like 2, 3, 1 or something.
Well, 3, 2, 1 is what we do in the speedruns. Because you got to fight all 3 of the trainers in the original as well.
Yep.
So, one of the improvements from 2013 is the trainer skip right here. This is brilliant. Where
Dear.
you move one tile to the left and you just go past that trainer's vision. For years, we did not know that you could do that, and we were just fighting that trainer. It wasn't until, I think, MK Dasher picked up this game, and he just skipped it. It was just like, we were looking at it, just being like, what is going on? What a crazy tech. How did he do that? Just move one tile to the left. Easy, easy. But so after the underground as well, we're going to go buy a lot of stuff because the underground here is actually connected to Goldenrod Mart. And so it's the perfect time to go to Goldenrod Mart and buy some stuff because it's where you can buy X items. So X items, haven't used, I mean, I used that one X attack, but then I immediately died. So neither of us have really used any X items yet. But like in any Pokemon speedrun, X items are very critical. It's kind of a rarity that we haven't used any up until now. But so X items, they increase your stat by 1 level every time you use them. And so levels in this game, stage levels on stats, they increase by a flat rate of 50% per stage. So one stage takes the stat to 150%, 2 stages is to 200%, then 250, then 300, then 350, then 400, and that's the max at +4. And so we're going to be loading up on quite a few of those for the rest of the run. But should be getting everything that we need here now for the rest of the run. As well as some backups in case some things do go wrong. So like ideally I will not be using 10 X special defenses, for example. And then also going to buy a couple of escape ropes. And then I'm just going to spend the rest of my money on max repels. And that should be enough repels to get me through the game as well. Again, with a couple of extras, just in case there is death along the way and I have to go through some movement again. And then we go back to Radio 2.
Yep, and I'm just about to start my shopping, so...
Yeah, so you won't get the X special, if I'm correct?
Yeah, I'll just load up on extra attacks.
Yeah, so because JT has very poor special, he's not going to get the X special. Only by 1, it's for 1 fight, which is against Brock. But because his special attack is so poor, he actually won't be able to take out Brock's Pokemon even with the X special. So he would have to use 2 X specials, and so in which case it's actually just faster to use 2 X attacks instead, because you're already buying X attacks. So it just takes a little bit less time to actually buy them, because you're already in the menu to get them. It always looks like with this trainer that you can actually get around them, but you can't. It doesn't. Sometimes the perspective with the walls is just a little bit weird in this game.
Yeah.
Because like if you saw like when we were doing Radio 1, just going past the scientist, it looks like there's less room to get past him than there is to get past this trainer here. We quite often get like opposite natures in these races.
Mm.
So like I had minus speed and you had plus speed on Cyndaquil, and then I got plus special attack and you've got minus special attack. So there is one more Pokemon in this segment that will not get one hit. There's only two in all of Radio Tower, those being Feraligatr and then the Vileplume. But so because there's so few and everything else is just a one hit, it feels so good if you manage to crit them and save the turn.
Yeah, plus the Vileplume does have Sleep Powder and can be a little bit of a troll. It can also use Sweet Scent and Giga Drain, but ideally we just one-shot and crit it.
Oh, I believe it has Mega Drain and not Giga Drain.
Oh, Mega Drain, sorry.
And also Acid.
Did I say Giga Drain? Oh, sorry. My
You
bad.
did say Giga Drain. How dare you?
I know.
How dare you, sir? Yeah, but I'm actually a bit worried about doing the Max Repel early, going to Mystic Water. Because I'm getting the Carbos in Ice Path, I actually feel like I'm going to run out of steps. So I actually think I'm not going to use the Max Repel early. In which case I should have just gotten the Mystic Water. But oh well. I wasn't really thinking about it before. So we haven't talked about Gyarados' ability. So Gyarados' ability is Intimidate, which is mostly just a time sink. And that it comes out and there's text saying it's lowering the opponent's Pokemon attack that you're facing up against. That's mostly just time loss. The reduction in attack doesn't really help. It does help slightly against Lance, because you set up on his Gyarados, and it does have Ice Fang, which would do more if it didn't have its attack dropped. It can also be slightly helpful against Red. Oh my word. Is this where I use the candy? Is it now?
Maybe, I want to say.
Oh no.
I honestly don't remember.
I wasn't paying attention.
You did level up, so...
Surely I just used it at 57. No, I'm just going to wait to the next level.
Alright.
I'm just gonna wait to the next level. Oh, am I gonna hit the next level before Kimonos? I hope. If I don't, I may be screwed. Probably should have just used the candy. Anyway. Gosh, what was I talking about? Something really important, I'm sure. I really can't remember what I was talking about. Anyway, so this is the last fight of the Radio Tower segment, and then afterwards we're gonna go off to the last gym. And you're finally going to see some use of Flail, because so Flail is really variable when you use it, because you're not really in control of your health very much, but you always use it against Claire, because that is the one point in the run where you are in control of what she's going to do, because her best move against you is Dragon Rage, which does a set amount of damage. Everything else has ranges, and it's just impossible to fully control otherwise. I was talking about Intimidate, yeah. So the one thing that Intimidate does have going for it is it actually reduces the encounter rate. So when surfing over to get the Mystic Water, because Gyarados is in the lead, there's actually slightly less chance to get an encounter there, because it has just a 50% chance to ignore encounters that are lower level than you. There are also 3 tiles of grass in Kanto, where that comes in handy as well.
Yeah, story-wise, we're saving the world from Team Rocket using their signal to forcefully evolve Pokemon worldwide. So they were basically testing it out at the Lake of Rage. Now they want to take it worldwide, and it's our job to stop them.
They're using this signal to call back Giovanni.
Yes, as well.
but like you
Never
don't.
shows up.
Yeah, you don't save the world. Giovanni does hear the signal, but he just doesn't come. He's
That's
just
true.
like, now I'm good. Have fun, lads.
All right, now we're both done with Radio Tower. There's going to be a slight route differential for both of us because I'll be going straight to Mahogany Town, while Worst is going to be going to Cherry Grove because he has not picked up the Mystic Water yet, and I already have. So
JT will catch
should-
up a little bit.
yeah,
Basically.
I should catch up a little bit. Not sure if I'll head in the lead, but it will even out a lot more now, which is good to see.
And then I'll take
Yeah.
the lead again with superior ice path movement, as
Absolutely,
is tradition.
yes. But you do have to pick up the car boss as well. So...
Oh no, that's true. Oh no. Okay, I didn't get an encounter in the water. That's good.
Yeah, this guy likes to talk a lot about himself, the director. Finally, he leaves, and then we can go.
Lots of Pokemon puns in there as well.
Mhm.
My health is actually really bad for Claire. No, I'll get a level up. No, it'll be fine because I'm at exactly 160 at the moment.
Ooh, Oranberry. Actually, no, you got to level up.
Yeah, I'll get a level up. There's a hidden elixir there that you can get for safety that JT might get. No, I'm not getting.
Yeah, I think I'll have to with my bad special.
An extra power.
So I'll pick up the elixir, you're picking up the car boss, so it all evens out in the end.
I'm not sure that's true, but it could be, in theory. So the ice movement is actually quite tricky. It's ideal to bonk on every single one of these rocks as you're going through before turning around. It's also faster to have it build up on your bike before going through. So like here, I move and then come backwards because the ice keeps the same speed that you have when you go into it. So if you have no momentum, you go through at like that slide on the ice in a really slow speed. So it can actually be faster to waste some tiles to get the momentum. And then this little boulder puzzle here. Only got to send down one boulder. And then here is actually faster to ignore this hole and go down this ladder. You can just go down that hole and drop down here. Oh, I've got to get the car boss. I almost forgot. That was so close to forgetting. Okay, and I'm going to teach some HMs here. Waterfall over tackle. Do not have pokers. One day it'll happen to me. Pokers has actually happened to a number of different runners of this game, but I am not one of them. Of this category, I should say, as well.
No, Centric can't learn Waterfall, but it can learn Whirlpool, though. I do not have Pokerus either, unfortunately. I've already had it once in a race, though, so I can't be too upset. One of the other people from the DS race crew has had it multiple times, Affected Ashes. I think he's had it 3 times, probably, which is a lot. Very rare to get it.
Yeah, so the next gym that we're about to enter actually has a lot of spinners. It's got 3 of them. The first one has a really tricky setup that I'm going to do because you have to actually pass them twice. And for the second pass, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, after passing them the first time, run for 1 tile. Because that's going to force them to look in a certain direction and then walk past them. If I do it correctly, they can't hit me on the second pass. If I do it correctly, I will definitely get hit. And I'm not the best at this. But I got it. Beautiful. Just like that.
Very nice. Alright, and I'm coming up to another Kimono Gal where the solution is to push her in the back and help her out from the frozen ice. So I think this is the 3rd or 4th kimono girl we've come across. I honestly lost count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is the 4th one.
I'm not going to get a level up before Claire, so I'm stuck at 160 health.
Oh no.
That's actually really bad.
Ironberry time. Ironberry, surely.
Do I have to?
Oops. Yeah, it is quicker to talk to this guy in the gym because he forcefully makes you put your Pokemon in the Pokeball, but I accidentally messed it up, so... Oh, you... Okay, he tried, but I got him.
Yeah, I think I do have to Ironberry, but I'll do it in the fight.
What a... Oh yeah, that's a good idea actually. Probably quicker than setting up another X item.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do, because I'm at 160, that's awful, because Dragon Rage does exactly 40, and 4 times 40 is 160. So, and being at 40 health doesn't give me a high enough flail range to kill with 3 X attacks. It would if I had good attack, but I do not. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 X attacks, use an Oranberry, because that'll end up after 4 Dragon Rages putting me to 10 health. So there is 1 spare turn here as well, so I'm just going to lead with Flail on this turn here. That's just a waste time because I'm going to be getting to 10 after 2 X attacks here. And it's better to just waste a turn attacking than to use another X attack. And so now this is Flail with 150 power, and with 2 X attacks, get rid of the Intimidate. I'm at +1, so it's kind of like effectively 225 power, which does take out all of Claire's pokes. I should have used that Rare Candy earlier. Anyway, I'll just Rare Candy after Claire. It'll take me to 58, and that's fine. $58 after Claire is enough. So I do have the lead at the moment over JT, but it is really close at the moment because, I mean, we're in the same fight. I also do have a slight disadvantage compared to JT because I do have a longer character name. My name of Raikou is 6 characters, and his of Entei is 5 characters. So every single time my name is displayed, I'm losing 1 frame. So
I also had to use the Oranberry in that fight just to get Flail. So... yeah, pretty even, which is good to see.
Okay. I'll also lose a little bit of time here because I have to Candy and use that Carbos. So you'll see I got to 110 speed there on that Candy, if you were paying a lot of attention. A lot of attention. And then I use the Carbos right after. So the Jolteon has exactly 110 speed, and I'm not going to get another level up before the Jolteon. So without that Carbos, it would have been a speed tie against Jolteon. And the Jolteon knows Thunderbolt, which is 4 times effective against Gyarados, so it does a lot of damage. And it also has Thunder Wave and Double Team. So if it goes first, it can just completely wipe you out. And a wipeout against the Kimono Girls is dreadful. Because horrendous. You have to restart all of the Kimono Girl fights again. It's basically like a mini Elite Four. Yeah, one of the annoying things about this run, is you'd like to stay in Flail health for a significant amount of time, but that never really happens. So you always get Flail for Claire, but you don't get to keep Flail afterwards. You use it for that one Dragonair there, but then you have to heal before the kimonos, because if you go into the kimonos with this amount of health, you die. Even if you go in with Flail 200 and you outspeed everything, the kimonos have... Some of them have quick attack. And so they'll end up just picking you off, so you have to heal beforehand anyway. It is a convenient time to heal because you do have to go visit Elm at the lab, but you just never get to keep the health. And that's kind of a consistent theme every time you get Flail, basically. You then have to heal. So you have to work it out during every fight you want Flail.
Right now, Werster's taking the world's hardest quiz. If you manage to get a question wrong, the guy will pretend not to hear and be like, "Hey, what was that? Try again." So he will let you pass pretty much significantly. The only downside is if you get one of those questions wrong and come back later, the gift Dratini that you get from him will not have extreme speed. So there's a fun little fact for you.
Also, every question has 2 right answers.
Yes.
2 out of 3. It's pretty hard to get it wrong. It's also the exact same pattern as the radio quiz. And
yeah, I'm not sure if they made that intentionally, but yeah, nice little touch.
And that the pattern to answer correctly is AABAB 11212. Yes, Claire has insanely fast running speed when she leaves. I wish I had that running speed. Zooming around. Hi, Raikou, how's it going? So now we'll fly back here, and so now we have to do a large segment. So the next thing that we want to do is surf off and go to the Elite Four, but we can't do that. We've got to come to Elm, and then Elm says, "Oh, you got to go to the Kimono Theater because the Kimono girls want to see you." And then you have to do that, and then you have to do what they tell you to do. And if you don't do all of this, Ethan just kind of sits at Newbark, just being like, "Yo, weren't you supposed to do some stuff?" And just does not let you surf on the water. Very mean.
That's wrong.
So once again, going to use this to heal. So as you've noticed, we've healed quite a few times, but the one way we haven't healed is by actually talking to the nurse at a center. That's because that's the slowest way to heal. But so the Kimono Girls are quite consequential. Luckily, both of us will outspeed Jolteon. That's by far the most important thing. But there is also the Umbreon, which you can't one-hit. And the Umbreon can do some very mean things as well, because it's got Confuse Ray. So the most ideal thing that happens is... Oh, you can one-hit the Umbreon, but you're never guaranteed to one-hit the Umbreon. With really good attack, you can one-hit it. Just with a really good range. That won't happen to me, though, because I have very poor attack. But so ideally you can get the flinch, because Waterfall in this game has a 20% chance of flinching, which is a nice touch. There aren't many things that you can flinch in this run, because generally when you're using Waterfall, you're taking the Pokemon out. Umbreon is an exception. The other place that you might see it is on the very final fight. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. So yeah, if you are slower than Jolteon, this is just a super tense part of the run. But if you're faster than Jolteon, it's just like, no, right, this is cruisy, this is real breezy. No worries, no concerns at all. It's just a massive breakpoint on the stats about whether the Gyarados can be considered good or bad. Speed is influential for quite a few other things, but it's like you can manage. So there'll be a few things later on where JT, by having a better Gyarados, will get better fights, but it won't be I'm in a situation where I'll die. It's just I'm in a situation where it'll be a little bit slower. So things like Blaine's Rapidash. Actually, I don't know what your speed IV is. Because you're plus speed, there are some things that you can get, like Crobats and Aerodactyls, etc.
Yeah, I think it's quite low because I'm only 114 though, at level 58. That was
Yeah,
my...
that is quite a low IV.
Yeah, so I can't... Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to come in handy anywhere, apart from beating Jolteon, thankfully. Which is probably arguably the most important one to beat.
Yeah, it is, definitely. Yeah, this race is definitely still winnable for GT. So I mentioned before, the last race we did of this, just before ASM 2021 started, we were about this far apart at this point, and we had about 30 lead changes afterwards from this point to the end of the run. We were just switching after every single fight. And I do have a worse Gyarados again, so...
Yeah, so that does give me a little bit of an advantage. He also has an extra character for his trainer name, so need all the help I can get from this point.
But yeah, the last fight is just
Yeah,
huge. Like
the ultimate
Red,
equalizer.
yeah, the run isn't over until Red is done.
Yeah, Red can be very, very, very mean, especially to a Werster. I'd say Werster has worse Red luck than anyone else.
Yeah, across multiple games as well.
Yeah,
like it's not just Heart Gold; it's Gold, Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Pokemon Stadium 2, even now Pokemon White 2. I just have extraordinarily bad luck against Red overall. It's ridiculous.
No escaping him.
No escaping him.
Yeah, if you thought you could get away from him in Black and White 2, then you started running PWT, so...
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, the Kimono Girls, this is now setting up the quest to go fight the legendary Pokemon of the game, and so because we're playing Heart Gold, that's going to be Ho-Oh. So this is the reason why we play on Heart Gold and not Soul Silver for this category. In other categories, you actually play on Soul Silver, and that's because getting to Lugia is actually faster than getting to Ho-Oh, even though Ho-Oh's area is right here, and you would think the Whirl Islands, that's a bit of a detour. It's actually faster to get to Lugia, because going through the Whirl Islands is faster than going through Old Bell Tower here. But it's better for this category to do Ho-Oh for two reasons. One, there's an easier to access Max Revive in here that we're going to pick up. Max Revives are going to be very helpful at the end part of this run. But also because Lugia is faster than Ho-Oh, and it's possible that Lugia can outspeed Gyarados. And the way running away mechanics work in this game is that's the determining factor. If you're faster than the Pokemon you're up against, you can always run away. But if you're not, sometimes you cannot escape. So it's better to come up against Ho-Oh.
Yeah, we've also got a massive, about a minute cutscene
coming up. Oh my god! Just getting into the festive spirit, dancing around that that ladder.
God. Yeah, now's a great time for donations or anything you want to say during this bit.
Well, we've had a fantastic little run of donations that have come through. Psycho, who was running Need for Speed a little bit later on in the marathon, has donated $30, saying first time donating, watching and participating. Good luck to all the runners. Remember to stay hydrated, and a special good luck to my second best friend. We've gotten a $50 donation from Alpha Prometheum, who says, Heart Gold and Soul Silver are one of my favorite Pokemon games. Love you guys. Battle Frontier Manipless when?
Never.
I mean, I've done individual facilities, but I don't think it's possible.
Never.
And we've also gotten a $25 donation from Ashley, who says, thanks for raising money for Beyond Blue, and thanks for the Pokemon run. Awesome job as usual.
I do love the Gyarados sprite when you're going across the ledges in Bell Tower. Just kind of like hovers over the ledges. It's very cute.
The nice thing about doing Bell Tower over Whirl Islands 2 is you get this cool little music. Whirl Islands just has like the generic cave music. It's a bit more. I feel like it's a bit more of a build up to where you get Ho-Oh.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Whirl Islands you also have to do in the dark, which it's not too bad. You'll see the room in the dark, or the rooms in the dark, a bit later on in Kanto that are actually quite difficult. But for new runners, that can be a bit of a off-putting reason to avoid Soul Silver. Yeah, this is the cutscene that JT was mentioning. Some runners use this as a little bit of a break. I use it to ingest some glucose, get the brain juice going for the rest of the run. And as the aforementioned donation said, to stay hydrated, get a bit of water.
Yep, I'll be doing the same.
One thing that everybody's always waiting for is for like this Ho-Oh to be shiny. It is possible to encounter random shiny Pokemon in the run, but again, I've never had it happen in a Manipless run. That's not it. And then all of that huge build-up. And we're out of there. Just got to trigger that to happen so that you can fly off to the Elite Four. Don't actually have to fight it at all. And that's obviously the fastest way to get out of there. Okay, so the movement here... Oh, sorry, you go.
I was just saying, it's quite hilarious how you have all of this big build-up to summon the legendary bird, and we just run away from it. And the kimono girls are probably just standing on the roof just saying, you're on, you know. It's like, welp. And then, yeah, off we go. And...
So what do you think? Swag Waterfall, yes or no?
I've got to go for it in the marathon.
Alright, here we go. We'll go for Swag Waterfall. So Swag Waterfall is going down this waterfall sideways. Does not save any time, hence why it is swag.
Yeah, it just looks cool.
I don't normally do it, so I might mess this up. Nah, he's got it. Beautiful. There we go.
He's done it.
So this movement afterwards, this is actually quite tricky, and you've got to pay attention to how much time you lose. So that you can go around the correct path. Nah, 3 bonks. We're going down. There's a spinner. Why did I do that? Whoa, Nelly. Whoa, Nelly. Okay, so I do those spinners reasonably risky. I did have to stop before both of them, but with the bike, I just go. You have to have very good reaction time to be able to beat a quick spin on the bike. Nobody really ever tries doing it by walking. But on the bike, I do try to just immediately pass a quick spin. And I did pass a quick spin there on the second spinner, you could see. So your reaction time's got to be... I can't remember the exact timings. But it's like just about a quarter of a second. Which is about what people's reaction time normally is when you put in, you know, the latency between seeing it and then hitting the button. And then the button registering and you start moving. But if you're just a little bit off, you don't make it and you get hit by a quick spin. So I'm happy to get past. This is the hardest movement in the game coming in up here. I'm not joking. Assuming I actually hit it, it's the hardest movement in the game. I did not hit it. So you're supposed to just move up one tile and then talk to that trainer from the side, which I did end up talking one tile from the side. But I went up one too far. It's extremely hard to get that perspective right. So I have to use an X attack here because my attack's not very good.
Speak about things that aren't good. I did not get the Kingler.
I was about to say,
yeah.
You probably shouldn't have even tried.
Yeah, I went for it.
Nah, you probably were a chance, so it might have been the right play. I think I do have enough attack to still strength Rapidash. But so, like, because the stats you get are very random, every run that you do of this category basically is different in some way or another. And so your adaptability and knowledge of, depending on what stats you do, what you end up doing, can be critical just for those optimizations. It's not really too critical to get through the run. If you get through the run, you can just stay on a really set path and just, you know, take the extra super effective text of, say, using Surf on this Rapidash instead of Strength. So it is still very inviting for new runners, but it does have a really nice skill curve for knowledge optimization, etc.
You haven't used that candy yet, have you?
No, I did. I used it
Oh,
after Claire.
I just noticed that your experience is a little bit higher than mine. Interesting.
Yeah, because I used it as at a later level.
Well, that's right.
You get more mileage out of the candy because it takes more experience to get from one level to another when you're at a higher level.
Oh my gosh, nice movement. I like how I nailed the hardest bit and then just stuffed up the easiest bit.
Oh, that's me to a T. You'll actually see that in Victory Road coming up right here, I guarantee you. Yep, I immediately messed up the easy movement. First room. Messed up the boulder. Straight away. And not to jinx myself, but I quite often mess up the easy movement in Victory Road and then get the hard movement. It'll be a tragedy if I mess up the hard movement now. But so because the bike has a wind-up, your movement is... I mean, it's not critical, because, you know, it's not going to end the run if you mess it up, but... you know, the difference between, you know, a top-level runner, the more experience that you have, does create a significant difference, because every time you bonk when you're not trying to, you've got to go through that wind-up again. There you go, I got the hard movement. Perfect. And then immediately messed up the easy movement again. Oh, that's perfect. That's me to a T right there, ladies and gentlemen. 5 seconds summing up my speedrunning career right there. So slot 1. So I'll just hit level 60 after this rival fight, and then we're going to use the last 2 candies to level 62 before going into the Elite Four. This fight's not too bad. The only thing that's kind of dicey here is his Feraligatr will not die in 1 hit. It's a range to die in 2 hits. Because my attack's quite poor, he probably won't.
Yeah, it's still relatively close. We're still on the same fight. Good to see.
Yeah, that did nowhere near half.
I do need to buy extra Maxipels again. So a little bit of a differential when we go shopping again.
So those 2 hits on Feraligatr give you a decent idea of the damage ranges. The first one did nowhere near half, and the first one did well over half, but still ended up living because my first roll was so bad. Which is a shame. But not much I can do about that. this last red down to here. I'm just going to use them straight away because I often forget to use these ones too. And so here I'm going to deposit Eccentric and Quilava into the box while I heal Gyarados in the box as well. There are... Actually, there's only one reason for doing that now anyway. Which is, after you beat the Elite Four, your Pokemon enter the Hall of Fame. And all of them enter the Hall of Fame. So by having less Pokemon in my party, it saves a little bit of time. Now that I think about it, I probably should have, for a marathon, maybe for safety, brought one more of them in case I end up having an unlucky death for Lance. But,
Yeah, I was thinking about saving for Lance.
that's not the way I go.
I know it's not the way you go.
I will take all the risks and set a good tone.
Oh, get in there, Central. There we go.
Oh, that was on instant. I think I can get away with only 3x attacks here.
Actually gonna buy an
Or
extra
special
5.
defense. It actually might be a range on Slowbro here with only 3x attacks.
Alright.
So, if this Xatu just keeps doing this much damage, no, I can't. So Flail here is only 80 power, so it's the same as Strength. I guess I'm just going off +3. I'll just use Flail. It's the same power as Strength, but it has more power. Oh, sorry, no, it's the same power but has more power. It has less characters, so it's faster. So I'd rather use Flail over Strength, given I can. I'm pretty certain this actually is a range on Slowbro. It'll be like 15 and 16, so very favourable. I would like to hit it because I think Slowbro might be able to kill me if I miss. And that would be very bad. Okay. Good. So that was a fast will. He did a lot of damage, which... it's probably a bit too much damage, but you do want to be using Flail against Lance, so you want to be taking a little bit of damage throughout the Elite Four, so that once you're set up and ready to go on Lance, you can Flail him. This might be a bit too much. Let's see what I decide later on. But he didn't use Confuse Ray. If he uses Confuse Ray, you have to, well, you should heal to get rid of the confusion, which is a bit slower. But so the rest of these Elite Four members, the Pokemon that you set up on, do significantly less damage than Xatu. Oops. Sorry about that, that was my cord coming out again. So capturing from a 3DS, it's got a cord, the capture cord installed into the 3DS, and sometimes the cord just comes out. So yeah, Forager's best move is... Oh, I guess actually it does have Explosion, doesn't it? Hopefully that
Don't
doesn't
mention it though.
happen.
It's very
But its best
rare
move
for it to
outside
use
of
it,
that
but-
is Swift, and Swift does very little damage. Yeah, Explosion is very rare for it to use at full health.
I have seen it use it before, but it is super rare.
Yeah, the chance of it using it depends on what Pokemon you're using. I know against Raikou it's 1 in 264 chance. I'm not exactly sure what it is against Gyarados, but it feels like it's something similar to that. Like it's extraordinarily rare.
Alright. So yeah, Koga got a massive upgrade in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. He went from a gym leader to the second Elite Four member. His team's still not that good.
Yeah, he's got higher levels in yellow, so...
Oh, there you go. So he got an upgrade, but decided to downgrade his Pokemon, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so here against Bruno, I'm going to use an X attack. You don't have to. The only Pokemon this is for Bruno's Marchant. But because my attack is quite poor and I'm at low health, I'm not going to risk missing the Marchant range, because if I do, Marchant will kill me. But if I set up the X attack on Hitmontop will not kill me. Ooh, or maybe it will.
Oh jeez.
So, it crit with quick attack. So I'm now at 19 health.
Ooh, flail strats for Karen? No, I don't think you can. Too low. Do you have a super potion? I don't know. No, that might be too much. It's tough scenario.
I do have a super potion. I can maybe go for flail strats on Karen.
So risky though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think Umbreon does like about 20, but my defense is also low. So I think she would take me out. Oh, that's such a shame. Because I would really enjoy it. Because it definitely saved the second X attack. I'm considering using an Oran Berry.
Yeah, you got multiple options here, but
The thing is Karen's Murkrow also has Sucker Punch. And it doesn't always use it. Sucker Punch is one of the priority moves that they don't always use, even if it will always kill, because of the additional effect of Sucker Punch only working when you choose an attack. Like, if you're in range of a quick attack, they will always pick quick attack to kill you. But not with Sucker Punch. But I don't want to risk it, because it can still pick Sucker Punch. So, just go to Super Potion. So we were talking about potentially going in with Flail, because if I had Flail 100, I could use only one X attack on Karen. But I'm now going to have to use a second X attack to be able to take out the Vileplume. Okay, that's good. I don't want to take any more damage though. I want to go into Lance with about this health. So I'm going to set up the second X attack on Houndoom here. Hopefully it goes for Nasty Plot. And then hopefully Murkrow does not use... what's that move? Sucker Punch. That I was just talking about. Actually, this health is no good either. I'm going to use a regular potion.
regular potion. Glad that you got one left over at least.
Oh, I hope I have one actually. Now that I think about it. I think I did. I had a good Falcon, so Falcon is generally where you use the potions. Yep. So I had to do that because of my poor stats. If I had better attack or my defenses were better, I could have gone in with that health. But I won't be able to take, with 72, I won't be able to take 4 hits, and I'm going to need 4 turns of setup, because I'm going to need 3x attacks. Because my attack's not good enough to go off 2. Unless I got Flail 200, but I'm not risking that. Because it's so unlikely to hit Flail 200 on Lance.
Got to keep in mind that we do get a level up at Lance, so that can kind of mess up our Flail power.
Yeah, that's
so
why it's so hard to get Flail 200.
Yeah. Like, it'd be great if we could just somehow reach level 64 just before Lance, but we're just short of it.
Yeah, so you see there, I would have been at, if I didn't use the potion there, I would have been at 6 out of 200 after 2x attacks, which is Flail 200. But then I would level up out of Flail 200, and then I would only be in
So
Flail
silly,
150.
isn't it? Alright, time for the best music in the game.
But yeah, so I had to use NX speed to outspeed Aerodactyl, and then Flail and everything else. For reference, because I did mention it, I did mention the exact cutoffs for Flail, but 6 is exactly Flail 200. So at this point, 6 is Flail 200, but 7 isn't. And the cutoff for Flail 150 is, well, for me, it's 19. It's probably the same for JT as well. It generally is at this stage. But it depends on what your HP IVs are as well. Alright, so I'm good. That's E4 done for me. And JT looks set up and ready to go as well. I'll be honest, after the race we had on Tuesday, I was really worried that this one was not going to be close, but this is really close. Because there's still so much back and forth that can and almost certainly will happen in Kanto. So basically every other Pokemon game, or every other region I guess, would end here after becoming the champion, but the Johto games, you get 2 regions, and they end once you beat both of them. You beat Red after completing the Kanto segment of the game.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything about Lance because I only set up the +3 X attacks and I used an X special defend to put my health lower on the Gyarados. So I was a little bit concerned that I wouldn't get all of the Dragonites, but we're in there.
+3 at Flail 150 is 100%.
Yeah.
You were fine.
Yeah, I was fine. I was just overthinking it as you normally do.
So here I'm holding the soft reset button, so start select LR, just to soft reset as soon as the game finishes saving. Sometimes my 3DS refuses to soft reset though. I have lost like 45 seconds before just getting it to soft reset. It's doing it! No! Oh no. JT, your moment has come.
Oh dear. Not like this.
Okay, oh my word. Well, you've made up a bit of time. The lead's definitely under a minute now, if it wasn't before.
Now don't worry, you guys will be able to watch the credits, providing that we're still on time, which we should be unless something horrendously goes wrong at Red.
Yeah, we're good at the moment. Yeah, unless both of us get absolutely obliterated by Red, we'll be fine at the moment. I also want to talk about how annoying this text is to me. So Elm here says, this ticket will, allow you to go to Kanto. But you already knew that because you've gone all over with your Pokemon. I have not gone to Kanto. How would I know that? It annoys me. It infuriates me that he would assume that I know that. It's far more annoying when someone tries to give you knowledge that you already have. Like with the catching tutorial.
Yeah, I just
But anyway.
wish there was an option to skip the catching tutorial, but Not to
like
be.
there is in the originals. Yep, so we are going to go on the boat, SS Aqua, which also has some fantastic music. I love Kanto music in the JoJo games in general. Like Lance onwards, the whole music is just a jam.
I mean, I don't think there's a single bad track in this game.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Dragon's Den in the original. It is slightly better in this version.
No,
I think good music is, in general, more noticeable than bad music, though.
that's true.
But yeah, so on the boat, SS Aqua, we've got to do a little side quest here. So we're going to talk to this old mate, and he's going to go tell us to find his old mate. I'm going to go find his old mate, having a snooze, wake him up, beat him up, and then we can go past this old mate and find the captain, who becomes our old mate, and then settles the ship in Vermilion after a nice little game of hide and seek.
Yeah, there's not really that much to say about this SS Aqua. Werster's pretty much covered everything, so if you got any donations or anything you want to say, now's a great time while we're doing the side quest.
Alright, well I'll take this opportunity to just remind everybody who we are and what we're doing. We are Oz Speedruns, a group doing speedrun events to raise money for charity. For this event we're raising money for Beyond Blue, a charity working to raise the awareness of mental health issues and reduce the stigma around these issues to help people achieve their best possible mental health. If you'd like to donate, you can go to donate.ozspeedruns.com or chuck in !donate in the chat. And while you're chucking in the donation, make sure to have a look at our fantastic donation incentives. That is ! Incentives in chat. Coming up pretty soon, we have if I can actually scroll to the right part of the document here, we have a Jack and Daxter the Precursor Legacy Glitch Exhibition. That is actually the next run coming up. So we have $400 off of getting to that $500 goal. So if we're going to get there, we need to get our skates on real quick, chat. Past that, we have a language choice for Jack 2, which is the run after Jack and Daxter. We also have a character choice for Echo Jr. and Silent Hill 2's ending choice. That one's really fun. I can't wait to see what everybody chooses for that one. And don't forget, we have World's Hardest Game coming up at the end of the marathon, but only if we meet that $2,000 incentive. And that's currently sitting at $345.
Awesome, thank you.
Alright, so there's a little optimization there that I did while playing the hide and seek game, where if you actually spend more time to go above talking to the girl, it's actually faster than talking to her from the right, because if you talk to her from the right, she spends 2 tiles, like pushing you away to become quote-unquote visible. But if you talk to her from the top, it's only 1 tile, and she moves very slowly, so it ends up being faster that way. If you pay attention to JT's screen, you'll actually see that as he gets up to it. And then I'm going to fly to Vermilion from Vermilion, which seems a bit weird, but that is faster than going through the dock. And these are the 3 tiles of doom. Beautiful. There's no repel on there, you just hope not to get an encounter. And that's the last time where Intimidate ability helps out with reducing encounters. And then straight off to the gym. So Kanto's a lot of a gym march. So this gym has some spinners. I'm going to do a little setup here as well. Oh, no. Yes. Okay. And then the second one, this is going to be another run one, where I force them to look a particular way and then walk past. I'm so bad at this one. But I got it. Beautiful. Whew. So you have to walk 1 tile, then run 1 tile, and then walk past them. And if you do it correctly, that spinner will not see you. The first one was just, it's a timing minute, so timing exactly when the counter ticks over, and then pause, and you could see she instantly spun the way that I wanted to pass as I did that. So then I had to wait and do another one. Now I have very bad attack, so I'm actually worried this Espeon is not going to die. It's going to be a range. hope for a high roll, basically. Okay. And so the one of the things that is happening in this segment of early Kanto is you're kind of hoping to get Flail against Misty. So you're kind of hoping to take enough damage that Flail ends up being more powerful than Strength against Misty to avoid setting up more X attacks on Misty. It's extraordinarily common that as soon as you're about to get hit into Flail, Misty just stops attacking you, which is really unfortunate. But I did get Psychic from the SP on there, and because my defense, and especially my special defense, is so bad, I do have a decent chance of getting Flail on this run.
Yeah, I also got Psychic, which is quite rare, and normally goes to Calm Mind. So, yeah, as Werster mentioned, it is... I find that it's very rare to get Flail on Misty, but it can really help out. Like, there's probably only a handful of runs where I've actually ever gotten it before.
Yeah, it's certainly more common to not get it than to get it. But so, like I said, so most of Kanto is a gym rush, but not all of it. So the one side quest that you do have to do in Kanto is you have to fix the power plant, because fixing the power plant gives you access to the radio card working in Kanto, which allows you to wake up the Snorlax. Aside from that, it's basically just a gym rush. But so we're going to do that side quest first. So to do this, you have to go to the power plant, then you have to chase down the grunt, then you have to get the machine part, and then you have to give it back to the power plant. And so at the same time, we're also going to fetch Misty and beat Misty at her gym. But so these are basically the stragglers, the not so good trainers in Kanto. Most everybody else is a gym leader that you be fighting. Okay, next. No. The other thing I want to mention about Kanto is that all of the NPCs, so all of the kind of trainers who can move around in cities in Kanto, all of them are trolls. They can all move in such a way that ends up getting in your way, and you have to bike around them. They're just awful. So the first one is in Cerulean, when I fly back here to then go to the gym.
First of many.
Yes. Oh my word.
Like, just for once, I wouldn't mind the NPCs cooperating, but that is asking a fair bit, I know, but just one time.
Good. Good. Okay. So he was not a troll. But so you could see, if he went up, he could then cut off my line that I want to take there into the gym. But he gave me nice breathing room there. Oh, get out of there. So that's the grunt who's stolen the machine part. Now we're going to chase him up here.
Oops.
So in the originals, you actually don't have to fight this guy. The machine part's just already there, and you can just pick it up. But the machine part is not actually able to be picked up until you fight him in this version. And yeah, this grunt weirdly has more character depth than some of the main characters in the Pokemon franchise.
It's very true. I believe he's in X and Y, right? He comes back in X and Y, I believe, this guy, the Team Rocket grunt, because he's originally from France. And they bring him back saying, oh, he used to work for Team Rocket. So, yeah, this guy actually appears in later games of the series.
He's in Gen 5.
Oh, Gen 5, sorry. Yeah, I got mixed up. I apologise. Again, wrong with my facts. Unbelievable.
But yeah, you'll see some of these trainers have not cottoned onto evolution yet. Shout out to level 45 Oddish. So most of these trainers aren't too bad in Nugget Bridge here. They're mostly just one hits. The third one isn't though. The Tangela is a range. Tangela has such high defense and such low special defense that even with a Gyarados that has much higher attack than special attack, it's actually better to hit it with Surf than any of your physical moves. And so because I had good special attack, I'll actually probably get the Tangela in one hit, but JT won't. Once again, my one stat, I'm going to relish in every moment that I can pull out of it. Go, special attack, go.
Yeah, it's a couple of fights away, but there is slight optimization with the double battle. It's still, I'd say it's still fairly recent, but we now have Firo in the party, whereas before we would have fainted it and just had Gyarados do the 2 double battles individually. So now Kenya does get a return all the Firo for the double battle.
Kenya does have another appearance ready to go.
Yep.
Yeah, so it is faster this way if it works. It is slightly riskier. So the idea here is Kenya's actually going to take out some of the Pokemon in this double battle coming up. It's not this fight, but the one after. So you can see the 2 trainers just in the bottom right there, ready to take me on. The reason it's risky is the Pokemon Kenya is going to be taking out are Paris. And the first Paris has Effect Score, which has a chance, a 30% chance, if you hit it with a contact move, which Kenya has to kill it, to inflict either sleep, paralysis, or poison onto the Pokemon that hit it. And so if you end up, getting put to sleep or even paralyzed, it's really bad.
Yeah, I didn't get the Tangela range, unfortunately, so...
Oh, more chance for Flail, though.
That's true, that's about the only positive we can get from that, though. But I will be able to take out this Vaporeon, though, which is good.
In one hit? No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yes way.
No.
Easy. Oh, I didn't get it. Okay, well, I had too much faith.
I've never gotten that Vaporeon in one hit. There is no way you were getting it on a marathon. Yeah, despite the fact that you took that extra damage from Tangela, I actually have lower health than you.
Oh, wow.
Because my stats are so bad.
Nice movement.
Alright, nice. No effects ball. Brilliant. So the second one's got dry skin, so that's not a concern.
Yeah, an effect spore can give you sleep, paralysis, and does it give you poison? I can't remember. Yeah, poison as well, so... The best out of those 3 is probably poison, because you don't want to get paralyzed and you don't want to go to sleep, so...
Yeah.
Ideally, you just don't get it at all.
Yeah, so actually use that turn to do the chip damage to Blossom. And this turn it'll take out the Paris. It doesn't get Parasect anyway, so this is still the same amount of turns. Even if you one-hit the Blossom. And so the EXP is getting split between the 2 Pokemon here, but the experience here does not actually matter for Gyarados at all. It still reaches the very crucial level 70 before Red. I'll just have a quick little squiz at my health here on this fight with Porygon. It's 99 out of 210. So after this, I'm going to be fighting Misty. So Flail 100, I think, is at 42. And then, oh my word, it's not supposed to talk to him again. Flail 200 will be 6, and Flail 150 will be 19. So we're just going to bike back instead of flying back to Cerulean. It's a nice music beat here.
It's also slightly faster to bike rather than fly.
Ever so slightly faster. It's
Yeah.
so close. This isn't too tricky, but you do have to pay attention to your movement here to make sure you're not hitting one of the swimmers in this gym.
Oh, I meant to talk to him, that's okay, no?
I talked to him twice, so I got you.
No, like I ran in front of him.
Yeah, I talked to him before and after the
Okay. I see what you mean.
Yes.
So I'm at 108 health, so 278.
So I want Golduck to use Psychic here to get me deeper into Flail, not Disable.
Be cool if one of us can get the flail strats for Misty.
Oh, Golduck. Is that in? 42. That's in. That's in!
He's got it.
There it is, that's beautiful. That was very cooperative. Got the 2 psychics that I needed. Usually you need more than 2 psychics.
Yeah. I guess being rash nature helped out there with psychic.
Yeah. Bad special defense. Also the psychic from Espeon and the Aurora Beam from Vaporeon. They're all special attacks. And so as I kind of mentioned before, now that I've got Flail, unfortunately there is going to be a heal right after. Don't get to keep Flail at all. Have to go set it up again. Which is a big shame. But so now, after beating Misty, going to go save the power plant, and then we're going to go through Rock Tunnel. So Rock Tunnel is completely in the dark, and so it can be very, very tricky to learn the movement. It looks more intimidating than it actually is when you learn it. But it does look really cool to pull it off in the dark. And doing it optimally is extremely difficult. But just getting through it somewhat fast isn't too bad once you've done it, 200 times.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, I did not get the flail strats. If Golduck decided to use one more psychic, I would have got on it, but that's just how that fight goes, so at least you get to see the other side of this Misty fight with me.
The other side of the coin.
Yep, we just go an extra attack and just spam strength and win.
So going through Rock Tunnel here isn't actually necessary for this game, but it is faster. Because so you have to get to Lavender Town, that's where the radio card gets expanded to work in Kanto. And you can get from Lavender Town from Saffron, but you have to fight a trainer to do it, which is why it's faster to go through Rock Tunnel. You can also, I think you can go through Fuchsia, but you would have to fight like 8 trainers. Nobody wants to do that. Good old Silence Bridge. Does have some good music there. But alright, so I've never gotten through Rock Tunnel Bottomless. Is this the day? My PB is 1 bomb.
Yeah, it'd be amazing if you could, but...
Oh, no faith. No faith. But, yeah.
But if anyone can do it, it's you. That's what I was going to say.
Sure it was.
Alright. So I'm going to go to the power plant. Actually, I shouldn't talk while he's doing that in Rock Tunnel.
Yeah, not bonkless.
Dang. Oops.
Ooh. Quite a few bombs, actually. Still got through just fine, though. The big time loss isn't actually doing bonks, though. It's like spinning around in circles trying to get to the ladder. That's where you lose big time. It's alright, so here's the heal that I was talking about. Convenient PC, just in here. And I'm also going to withdraw the 2 Pokemon that I put in the box earlier, as we're going to need them. Most importantly, because we actually need to use Cut. But also, as Pokemon to switch to use Revives later on too. And then the next thing here that we're going to do is go off to Vermilion and then do Trash Cans. So Trash Cans are random, and you can lose so much time here. So the way Trash Cans work is, the first one is just random, there's 15 different Trash Cans, and then the next one is always next to it, but that can be a choice of 2, 3, or 4 different cans. And it can just, you can lose several minutes here just trying to get the right ones.
Yeah, it's all random.
Oh my, that's weird.
Get up the ladder, come on. There we go.
Aw, that would have been brilliant. Oh, I will take that. I will take that. That is so much better than average cans. Holy dooly. Those are brilliant cans. The Surge fight, as you might expect, is a bit annoying, because it is an electric gym, and you do have something that's 4 times weak to electric, but that's actually not why it's annoying. The reason it's annoying is because you have to use Waterfall to kill his dudes, and 4 out of 5 of them have static. And you just don't want to see static, and so of course I immediately see static.
It's the price you pay for good cans.
To be fair, I seem to get static quite a lot regardless of how much.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we were doing weekly races of this category like for quite a while,
Jeez.
and it took me so many races until I got a staticless Surge.
Alright, it's now my turn to face the Can's Gauntlet, so here we go.
Also, my special attack is special defense is so bad. So usually you can able to take 2 hits from Surge and not die. As you can see from the amount of damage that I'm taking, I am nowhere near able to take 2 hits.
Gonna be the last one to check, isn't it? Yep. Alright, 50-50 chance for me here. I did not get it. Unfortunate. Okay, this is 1 and 3, so it's a bit more harder. Oh, we didn't get it. Yep, this is how cans can go.
Okay, so now we're going to wake up Snorlax. There's a little bit of a cool strat here, a really cool optimization, where I'm actually going to get off the bike before talking to Snorlax.
There we go. Alright, that was pretty bad, those cans, but... Again, I guess you get to see the reverse side of the coin there, where it can be really bad.
First I'm going to do this menu here. I'm going to heal because my special defense is so bad, I feel like I could die to Omastar. To play the poker flute. So if you pay attention here to what happens on this Snorlax, you'll see Gyarados just kind of slides in, and that's because Gyarados is actually loaded behind me, like it's walking behind me. Like Gyarados will just slide in here. So if you are still on the bike, you actually throw the Pokeball, and then Gyarados lands, and it ends up being faster in that situation, and that situation only, next to the Snorlax, to get off the bike, walk the one tile, and talk to the Snorlax, and then walk into Diglett Cave, and put the bike on again there.
Yeah, that's also a pretty recent thing that's been discovered. It's quite cool.
Also, catching the Snorlax. Snorlax is going to be used both for the Rock Climb, HM, and it's also going to be used against Red.
Very useful for Red.
Very useful. Pick up this next revive as well. And so Snorlax stats, again, are random and are consequential for Red. You want a Snorlax that's got really good health, and ideally really good defense, and not terrible special defense. Special defense doesn't have to be good, but it has to be not terrible. If you have terrible special defense, the run can just be not incompletable, but you can just be like, well, GG, I did nothing wrong, and it's just over.
Yeah. Alright, you also got to see the flip side of the coin for Surge. I got staticless Surge, so there you go. That makes
nice.
up for the bad cans I had, I guess.
Nice. Yeah, that is good. So Brock is the one fight where I'm going to be using that X special. I'm not going to use it on Graveler though, because Graveler has bad moves. It's got Sandstorm, which increases the special defense of rock types. Don't want to see that. So I'm going to use it on Omastar here. So Omastar has Ancient Power, which does have a chance of raising all of its stats. Do not want to see that. Want to see it go Protect this turn. No. Don't do it. Don't do it, son. Okay. No, now he uses Protect. See, this is typical AI tomfoolery. I had to think of a word there that wasn't swearing. On the plus side, having that little bit of extra damage there does put me a bit closer to Flail. Ideally, you do get Flail for Erika, which will be a bit later. Haven't really talked about the reason why we do this route in Kanto, but it's mainly because we deposited the cut Pokemon in Centric at the Elite Four for the Faster Hall of Fame, so we actually can't do Erika at the moment. And so our options at the start were Surge, and we actually wanted some levels before taking on Surge. Sabrina, who was just right along the way, so did Sabrina straight away, and then just went straight up to Misty and did her straight away, because you don't really need the levels there. And then there, it's just a convenient way to go to the power plant. And then you can't do Erika, so you have to do Wake Up Snorlax, and that's the best time to do Surge while you're in Vermilion. And then just kind of carry on from Surge to then go through Diglett's Cave to do Brock and then do Blaine. And then head off and do Erika.
Oh, someone in chat just asked why I Master Ball the Snorlax. It must have been your explanation, but yeah, used for Red and Rock Climb, very, very helpful for those two things in particular, especially Red. So yeah,
so in older routes, you did use the Master Ball on Mewtwo to beat Red. Mewtwo is a safer way and an easier way to beat Red, but it's not a faster way. It is faster to beat Red without Mewtwo, which does require some strats. Some big boy, big pants strats. I'm not going to get this Elixir, I'll be fine.
You also see me using a slightly different strat for Brock here. I'm going to use an X attack twice because my special was that bad. I cannot do the X special strat, so you do get to see a slightly different strat here for Brock that you don't normally get to see. Power's not great. Does have a 10% chance to boost all of its stats also, so that's probably the worst move we can use. We want it to use not that. We want it to use Protect.
Protect while setting up and then not protect when it's edgy.
Yeah, alright.
Cool. Yeah, see, look at that NPC trying to block me. Caught at this time there. Yes, I will not be using that site. I am...
No, we don't need that.
No. We're pros. We know what we're doing. Well, some of the time anyway.
Yeah.
So you've got to open that menu to use the max repel on the water there really fast to actually make it past that walker. If you spend a little bit too much time while intermittently between the repel has worn off to opening the menu, the walker will actually advance. I guess they're in water, so they're not really a walker, are they? This is kind of a term that I give to trainers who move around like that. They'll move a bit further, and their line of sight will be such that they'll actually see you on the left side there, so you have to wait for them. But also, welcome to the Gods Arena right here.
Mm-hmm.
First non-Gen 2 poach in the run. It's the doof. And there is one more non-Johto Pokemon that you'll see in this run, but you can ignore that because it is not a Pokemon worthy of mentioning. Yeah, so the Pokemon in this gym, just going to use Surf, take them all out. Easy, easy. I've got enough special attack to surf Blaine's Rapidash as well. JT does not, so he'll have to go for Waterfall there. Surf's a bit better than... using Surf is a bit better than using Waterfall, again, because of the text, but also on Blaine's Rapidash. Blaine's Rapidash can just use any of its moves, for whatever reason. It's another Pokemon that can just do whatever. And one of those moves is Flare Blitz. And Flare Blitz has a 10% chance to burn you, and burning cuts your attack in half, and then Waterfall won't kill. So if it outspeeds you, and then uses Flare Blitz, and then burns you, and you had to pick Waterfall, it's not a fun time.
Just had a classic example of NPCs trolling you, like I moved for him and then he moved right out of my way, so... Yeah, not much you can do about that other than have a laugh, I guess, but it can be a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, I tend to express an emotion that isn't laughter.
Yes.
When that happens, I gotta say.
Which is fair enough.
Okay, so you got to fight these trainers so that they will move out of your way so that you can get access to Blaine.
Yeah, I still think that Blaine kind of looks like Dr. Robotnik. Just a slimmer version.
Oh, he's got the shades.
He's got the shades, he's got the moustache.
I don't know about the hat though. I mean, what's that doing? Oh,
yeah, I don't know about the hat, but he takes it off in the animation sprite, so...
That's true, he does.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so the best move Rapidash can do is Quick Attack. Bounce is really bad, actually, because it takes an extra turn, and it can also paralyze me. Of course, I got Bounce. And, of course, it paralyzed me. And fully paralyzed. Oh, we're having a good time. Well, the more damage can be good for Erica, so I could full restore here, but I actually think I'm going to use a paralyze heal instead, just to keep the low health to try and get flail for Erica. So it's actually faster to run out of this gym than to use an escape rope normally, but if you're already in a menu, it's faster to use an escape rope than to close out of the menu and then walk out. And so because I have to heal the paralysis here, I will be escape roping out of Blaine's gym, which you can do. Here. Okay, and so I just took a quick squiz at my Snorlax health. It has 230 health, which is a bit better than average. This is the worst NPC, this one here, in Celadon. Oh, she got me!
There we
right
go.
in the corner. Right in the corner! Gosh, dilly darn zooks. Right, so Erica's gym, you actually don't have to fight any trainers in here. You've just got to
Cut through
be
a lot
aware of
bridges.
where you can go. The perspective is kind of weird in this gym now. Getting hard to get everything done correctly. Okay, so Erica. So this fight I want flail. Erica can do lots of different things there. What I want to see is double Giga Drain.
You've cursed yourself, mate.
Nah, mate. Double Giga Drain. It's happening.
Oh no! It also used bounce on me. Alright, don't do it. I'm paralyzed. I'm not fully paralyzed though. Alright.
The move you really don't want to see is Sunny Day, because all of her Pokemon have Chlorophyll, which double their speed in the sun, and so they're all faster than you. In Sunny Day. No, that was the right play. Okay. I thought I'd made a mistake, but I didn't.
I also have an excuse to use the escape rope because I needed to menu there anyway, so you don't get to see the running out strat today. Nice fly menu, GT.
I don't know whether to risk this Crobat. You do get the level up before Crobat. My defense is really bad though. So usually this Crobat, like against average defense, its max range is 18. And my health's gonna be like 20. Oh, if I got to 21 I would have risked this. But at 20, I don't think it's the right play to. I think I should
Dang.
heal.
Oh my god. This gym puzzle might seem easy, but the movement is a little bit precise and you can bonk quite easily.
Okay, so for me, the last spinner is coming up on Cycling Road. This spinner is, if you do the setup that I'm going to do, it is the hardest. You have to react so quickly as you're going down Cycling Road. But if you do it correctly and you react perfectly and move perfectly, they can't hit you and you don't stop. But you have to very specifically move even before you get to the spinner so that you load them at the right time as well, so that you can even do the setup. It's quite tricky. But I'll go for it. For the fans. Oh, he's done it. What a play. I got the hard version of it too. Not the super hard version, but the hard version. I didn't heal though. What am I doing? Maybe I should just not heal. Do you reckon I'm committed now? I reckon I'm committed now. Let's just not heal.
So unfortunately, even though I got knocked into Flail, I do need to heal here, because Jump Luff decided to use Sunny Day. Unfortunate, but nothing I could do about it. Leech Seed's not great either. And because the sun is up, as mentioned, the Chlorophyll ability doubles all of Erica's grass types, because I think they all have Chlorophyll, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. But I think there's only one more turn of sun, so we only have to put up with it for another turn, thankfully. But yeah, you get to see this fight without Flail. So yeah, again, you're seeing both sides of the fight. I guess that's the positive side, is you get to see two different fights.
So I've got Flail 200 for Janine. Took the risk, paid off.
Well, there we go. Yeah, again, another thing you don't really see that often is Flail 200 Janine, so nice to show it off.
To be fair, I reckon I've gotten it like the past 6 times.
Yeah.
I just keep taking the risk. And Janine is actually the third last fight in this run, so we're coming up to the end game now. But the last two are huge. The last two are huge. Like, blue is a big step up from everyone that you fought. Like, if everybody else on a difficulty scale is like, you know, maybe a 3, then blue jumps to, you know, a 6 or a 7, and then red jumps to like a 40. So blue is a big jump from everybody else, and then red is just this ginormous leap.
Yeah, they're pretty much different planets. Oh my gosh.
Wait, can I do Flail 200 blue? I don't think I have the attack to, do I?
No, I don't think your stats are good enough,
No.
unfortunately.
Oh, that's a shame. If you've got good enough attack, you can go into blue with Flail 200 and then just immediately take out his Executor. But my attack isn't good enough to do it, even though I have Flail 200. That's a shame. It would have been excellent given I have such bad special defense as well. So the bad special defense is going to be very consequential for these next 2 fights.
Alright, and I just passed my final spinner, so I did not hit a spinner in the run, so I'm very, very happy with that.
Oh, congrats. Outplayed me. The only spinner that I hit is one that I don't even consider a spinner.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to dodge. Oh, classic.
I'll let it slide, I'll call it a spinner for you.
Okay, so the reason bad special defense is so bad here is on blue I have to set up an Executor, which is using special moves, and because my special defense is so bad, he's going to be able to take me out in 3 hits, and that's really bad. Like, that's a really bad. So I'm going to be hoping for some misses. Like, that's what I'm hoping for, straight up. Otherwise I may have to double Trick Room cycle, which is awful to keep track of. Because yeah, blue uses Trick Room, which makes it so that slower Pokemon act first, which is not good because you're faster than everything. So you need to start hitting him once that isn't in play. So I want him to miss. Pick Hypnosis for me at least. That's perfect! Ooh. I'm going to attack now. This is bad. I really want to wake up now. Oh no, that's so unlucky. Okay. I made the right decision there, but got unlucky. Okay, that's good. Because now I can heal that. And then Trick Room will wear off, so the same thing can't happen again. Yeah, so that was very unlucky because he hypnosised me on the last turn of Trick Room. And then, so ideally you'd use a full restore on the last turn of Trick Room, and that heals the sleep. And you can't use hypnosis when you're already asleep. And then you can just go. The bright side is I do have enough X attacks to be able to take his Gyarados out. Because my attack's so poor, that wouldn't have happened otherwise.
Alright, I'm now making my way to the Viridian Gym. Hopefully I can actually talk to the guy this time. So this is another gym where they force you to put your lead Pokemon in your pocket.
Yeah, because like it's because of the walking sprite behind you. If you go on those tiles, it doesn't work properly. The Pokemon doesn't follow you and spin with you. Just gonna make sure to get rid of him. 192 over 3 is 64. And Snorlax is 76. That is 140 recoil to Pikachu, which is perfect. 141 makes him heal. Okay, beautiful. So the strat you have to do against Red depends a lot on what your Snorlax stats are, what your Gyarados stats are, what health your Snorlax has, and what health Gyarados has. So it's very complex, and you can't really decide what you're going to do until you see those things, see how much health you've got after Blue on Gyarados. And then you don't see Snorlax defensive stats until I teach at Rock Climb. But so I really, really, really want Snorlax to have at least 111 special defense, which is very likely. And then in an ideal scenario, which is very unlikely, it has at least 84 defense. That would be perfect. But if not, that's typical and all good. So there's only one fight left, and that's Red. But to get to Red, we've got to fly back to Pallet and get the HM for Rock Climb, and then head off to Mount Silver. So before I get to Red, I'll just mention as well, so both me and JT are playing on a date where it does not hail against Red. So we're both playing on, I think we're both using Jan 1st, but there are a few dates where it doesn't hail against Red. Most of the time it does, but on Jan 1st, March 15th, October 10th, it does not. There's a couple others as well, but those are the only relevant ones.
Yeah. I did get a perfect blue fight as well, which is good to see.
Oh, catching up. But yeah, no, this will all come down to Red.
It will. Red is literally the decider.
Yeah, so to give you an idea, like last race that we had, JT died to Red, and yet still had a faster Red than me who did not wipe out to Red.
Yeah.
Like the variance on that fight is just enormous.
It's crazy.
Okay, drop climb to Snorlax and check the little stats here. So, Didn't get the defense, but do have the special defense, so that's the more important one. That's good.
Nice.
So the special defense threshold means Pikachu can't kill Snorlax with Thunderbolt from full health. Very important. The defense threshold would mean he can't kill with Iron Tail at full health. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead Gyarados because he can kill with Iron Tail, which I don't want to happen. I want him to be using Volt Tackle, because Volt Tackle does recoil damage to Pikachu, and that's how I'm going to kill Pikachu. Because Gyarados can just not kill Pikachu. Pikachu's outspeeds Gyarados and does like 400% of Gyarados' health. Can't win. So I'm going to kill Pikachu by recoil. And so ideally, I'm actually going to have it recoil out on Snorlax. Now I can't just have him hit Snorlax twice with Volt Tackle, because that'll just put him at the heal range. So I've got to have him hit Snorlax, then chip something else, which at this point, because Gyarados isn't at full, can be Gyarados, and then hit Snorlax. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead with Gyarados to use Intimidate, it's the ability, on Red's Pikachu, because that'll lower its attack. Then Iron Tail can't one-hit Snorlax, and so it will only pick Volt Tackle. Ideally, it'll pick Volt Tackle turn 1 against Gyarados, but it's not guaranteed to, because it can use Volt Tackle or Thunderbolt to kill, so it's just a 50-50 chance which one of those it picks. If it picks Thunderbolt, then I'll just revive Gyarados and use half of Gyarados' health as the extra damage that I want to do.
Yeah, I got a little bit unlucky there on the blue fight. Didn't quite get the Gyarados range, and he had to heal a couple of times, so lost a little bit of time there, but still beat him.
I'm gonna get this the extra X and max revive here.
Yeah.
Should I save? What do you reckon, JT? I'll let you decide.
Up to you, mate. 221 health for
and then
me,
he's
though.
just like, nah. You decide. Nah, alright. I'll stick to my mantra, we're not saving.
I mean, you've done it the whole run, but
We'll go all in. We'll go all in. Thunderbolt, that's a shame. Also a shame that my max health is 223. Because 224 is the cutoff of Flail. Get better. So this will be Volt Tackle. So the good thing about having really good special defense is, so what's going to happen here is I'm going to send out Centred, I'm going to max revive Snorlax, and then it's going to use Volt Tackle again, but I don't want it to Volt Tackle Snorlax, as I mentioned. I want it to hit Gyarados, so I'm going to switch to Gyarados, and that'll trigger Intimidate on Pikachu again. And so when Pikachu's at -2, sometimes if you have kind of not great special defense, it'll actually pick Thunderbolt at -2 against Snorlax, but with my one it won't, which is good.
I have a minor special defense nature Snorlax, which is not great, but we'll work with it.
Did you see what the stat was?
Yeah, 71 defense.
Oh, minus defense.
Yep.
Not. I thought you said minus special defense.
139 special defense it was.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I'll just have to lead with Gyarados also for red.
Okay, so I'm going to use Crunch here with Snorlax. Just in case this Volt Tackle doesn't kill. And so you really want to finish Pikachu off with Snorlax, because what Pokemon you have out determines what Red sends out next. And so by having Snorlax here, he'll send out Blastoise, and Blastoise is the Pokemon that I want to set up with Gyarados. Because Blastoise doesn't have great moves against Gyarados. But they are all special, so the fact that I have bad specials gotta be said. Oof, I have to heal there. That's ridiculous. And so ideally, Blastoise ends up hitting you into Flail, and like Flail 200, and you can just flail the rest of his pokes, but it's very unlikely. So Blastoise will spam Blizzard until it's out of Blizzards, but then it can use its other attacks, so it can go Hydro Cannon, but it doesn't always use Hydro Cannon, which makes the amount of damage that it's doing quite variable. 4. 5. I actually have to go to +6 because I do not have great attack. You're kidding me. That Hydro Cannon probably would have hit me into Flail. That's not the first time that's happened.
He missed again?
Yep.
Of course he did.
Oh, I should have just healed again. I had a spare down there. Oh well. So I don't have Flail, so I won't be able to one-hit Lapras or Venusaur. I actually have absolutely horrendous health for Venusaur here. I probably should have used Strength on the Lapras. Ideally, what I'd like to get hit to Flail 40 to be able to touch Venusaur with Flail 40.
Sorry about that. That Snorlax just clutched it out with 1 HP.
I think I've got it. Does Venusaur do that much? Surely it doesn't. I'm going to use Flail here. Because if I hit him with Waterfall or Strength, it's going to hit him into heal range. Sleep Powder. Alright, well, let's go now.
Oh man, that's the one time you actually want that to hit. Go. Oh my god, Kenya, what?
Can't kill Kenya.
Nope, it's not killing it. Oh, stop! No, I should not be using Fly. Oh my god. Oh my god! Can you please just hit him? Man, this is a scuff red fight. Holy. Finally! Alright, there we go.
The Mirror Move Blizzard Freeze would have been the biggest brain of all time.
Alright.
But alright, I am done.
GG's, well done.
Got time.
Apparently Blastoise just wants to miss everything today. That's a crit. This is 4, I need to go one more. So using Waterfall here for the flinch chance. I might actually put him into heal range because of Kenya doing that much damage. I hope I don't. Oh, that might be heal range. Probably is, isn't it? Yeah, that's unfortunate. Not much I could have done there. Maybe could have healed in that turn, but... Yeah, Kenny just wanted that last appearance. Nice flinch, beautiful. Ah, that's unfortunate because now I have to heal. That might be overgrowth for him though. It should be fine. Yeah, all good.
Still won't die.
Yeah. Alright, well time is coming up for me too. I'll let you know. But yeah, that's pretty solid. We both got first try red, which is good. Good showcase at the moment.
Despite the fact that we both had less than average carps.
Yes.
Go up. Both got sub 4 as well.
Yeah, sub 4 for a marathon is very, very good. Alright, and that is time for me. There we go.
Excellent work, JT. That was a fantastic race.
Yeah, I'm glad it was close. It was good fun. Thanks again, ASM, for having me, and all the people who do stuff behind the scenes. You guys are awesome. Thanks, Werster, for asking me to have a race. Good fun.
Oh, it was fantastic, and it is such a good race category, I would say. So just before we finish here, for the fans, I'm gonna return Kenya. So Kenya, who has been used in this run and been an absolute champion, was actually supposed to be delivered to this bloke here, who really feels like reading some words on a piece of paper or something. If you read this guy's whole text, it's absolutely phenomenal. I don't even know how to pronounce that. It's you give him Kenya. And he also teaches you my absolute favorite contraction. I did not like Zubat though. That's what it says. I went to a dark cave the other day with a friend. That cave leads to another route. By the way, I must thank you for being so kind. I'd like to do something good in return. And then he gives you TM44, which he tells you is rest. The phrase recover fast became shortened to rest, you see.
That is the greatest trivia this game has to offer, guys, so make sure you remember that.
So if we've learnt one thing from this run, that's it. If there's one takeaway, I hope you take that away from this run. But yeah, I hope you all had a great time. Thanks everybody for watching, for tuning in. Thanks everybody for the donations that have come in across this marathon. And stay tuned because we've still got over 2 days worth of content coming up here on this channel. So keep watching. Keep those donos rolling in.